What? Provocation.
Hey, you guys, it's Mo in the Deep End. We
It
are
is not
going
okay
to cover,
take a gun to a fist
well,
fight.
this insufferable woman for the rest of
Previous
her
difficulties
babbling, and
between
then
the
we're going to go to
parties.
the defense,
The manner in
and
which the homicide
hopefully
itself was committed.
we won't have to
Is
deal
this
with
one shot to
Helen
the head?
Lovejoy
Is this
much
39
longer.
shots? It matters. The nature and manner of the wounds inflicted. Is this clearly indicating that the individuals were trying to
But
get away?
did he
Yeah.
cheat?
Like
Dear
Travis,
Lord, did
Rudolph
he
is
cheat?
shooting here, and Tyler Robinson is getting bullets to his back.
Also, side note, never try to keep up when you are a teetotaler with a professional Swedish drinking lawyer. It's a bad idea. I didn't have a hangover. It's more the staying up until 12 o'clock that really got me today.
Sebastian Jean-Jacques, as according to the
Hold on,
medical
we can't
examiner,
even
most of
go at
those were from the back.
1.5 speed. Why, God, why?
This issue.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to put her closer to the end.
Shot spotter
because
audio also doesn't lie. Defendant claims he wanted the men to get away from him. Shot spotter audio can hear the engine before even a single sound of
does this
gunshots,
woman know
indicating
how
the car started moving and
reality
was in fact
works?
leaving, just like we can see on the video. That is also damning.
Oh my gosh, her tone of voice is
Thank you.
gonna. Jamie, I'm gonna
Evidence of
need you. Jamie,
premeditation.
I'm gonna need you because this woman's already
The
testing the
defendant here
Jesus
had
in
an
me.
interesting choice of weapons. Defendant, as we know, had two guns.
That's good.
A handgun that we know
Yes,
was
I
fully
am
loaded in his dresser.
taking over a stream from
He was
MLS
more
Law
familiar
Show
with it,
because he
carried it.
has
It's actually the one he
some
carries
real
concealed to
adulting
Miami
to
as he
do
trains,
outside
as
of
we
YouTube.
heard numerous
I've
times.
heard people have these things.
Then he had
I
this
don't
assault
know
rifle
about
in his
them.
bag in the same room.
Oh, for the love of Cheetos, can she be done
Defendant
yet?
selected the gun with maximum firepower and 100 rounds. That choice was not about self-defense. As we saw, nobody else had a gun out.
Ma'am, you didn't see
He
any.
hadn't even seen any guns pulled in.
Oh, well, he should have just wait till he got shot up. I don't know what was wrong with him.
Premeditated. Choice of guns.
Oh, ma'am, can we please?
Pursuing people as they're trying to run away. Literally, your claim that they're coming towards you, completely disproven.
The
Premeditated. He wanted
poor
to, quote,
debate club
eliminate.
just out to give grandma her meds at.
Then there's attempted first-degree murder, also has 3 elements. And I noticed on some of your packets, it said 2 elements. It's 3. Anything first-degree murder is 3, even the attempted ones. So just correct that when you go back there. You'll see the 3, the number 2.
Good Lord, can the entire court
Travis
not
Rudolph
get these
did some act
instructions
intended to cause the death of Tyler, Keyshawn, and Chris. I've put them together here for ease of discussion. That went beyond just thinking and talking about it. Yeah, well, we've certainly gone beyond that. That's proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Madam.
2, Travis Rudolph acted with a premeditated design. We just discussed the premeditation. Why shoot them in the back? Why shoot them as they're leaving? Why even go down there? 3, the act would have resulted in the death of Tyler, Keyshawn, or Chris, except for someone prevented Travis Rudolph from killing them, or he failed to do so. Apparently another hero is Keyshawn. How he had the presence of mind, ladies and gentlemen, to get his friends out of that while getting shelled with 39 casings, we will all never understand.
Keyshawn, the hero of the month. Pre-med, pre-law, pre-hormones.
Rules for deliberation. You must follow the law as it is set forth in the instructions. I spent a lot of time making sure that when we selected you, that not only were you fair to both the defendant and the state, but that you would promise that you would follow the law. It is so integral, ladies and gentlemen, especially as you deliberate, to follow the law. It will not lead you astray.
Ma'am, your wig has led you astray.
Sense,
it is
but
evil.
Even if you think it doesn't, it's not your judgment call. Follow the law.
No, you actually,
the law says,
for daggone sure, can use your own judgment,
and then
which is why they tell you not to.
That they're trying to get away.
But I'm not a lawyer,
not
so you didn't hear that from me, and this is not legal advice.
You cannot shoot at their vehicle as they're leaving. There'll be other rules for deliberation. You'll see them.
Yeah.
But most important that I bolded at number 7, Your verdict cannot be based on prejudice, bias, or sympathy. You all promised that you wouldn't do that anyway. We picked people who, the minute they said sympathy, can't do it, bye-bye, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for your time. Because you have to be able to separate
but we can take into
feelings that you
account
might
the
have about
absolute
individuals
dickish
and what the law requires
obfuscation
and what
of
the
your
facts say. And you all said you could do that.
your
So just do it. Follow the
sterling
law.
boys, your
It's not
kid
about whether or not he's
victims
an
over here,
ex-NFL player or
your
an ex-celebrity or
kidults.
whatever else. It's about what he did that night to somebody else's family.
Oh, for the love of... She
Weighing
is
the
never going to be
evidence.
done.
You'll get an instruction on that. The things that you should focus on. I'm not going to go through every single one with you. I recognize that
she's already
you
been
have the
up here
packet
for
and
an
you'll
hour
read
and
it
a
as you go
half.
through. But I want to talk to you about lesser included offenses.
Oh, dear
And Madam
Lord.
Clerk, if you can start taking from the other section. I want to start from the bottom. The least charge in front of you for your consideration is called aggravated assault. Aggravated assault, like the judge defined for you, that's on page 29 for quick reference if you want to get there, has 4 elements. Travis Rudolph intentionally or unlawfully threatened either by word or act to do violence. Here it says Christopher Lowe because this is his section.
The word
but
is
obviously
farce
we're
or
talking
parody.
about Tyler. I'm sorry, not Tyler. We're talking about
when you
Keyshawn.
are overly
and Chris
dramatic
here.
for humor's sake.
Then at the time, Travis Rudolph appeared to have the ability to carry out that threat.
Or
Well,
a
yeah,
parody
certainly.
or satire,
Not just
depending
carry
on
out the
whichever
threat.
one you want.
It was full on happening.
Oh, for the love of goodness.
3, the act by Travis Rudolph created in the mind of Christopher
Jonathan
Lowe
Swift's modest proposal and have more fun than this woman.
well-founded fear that violence was about to take place. No, we passed. Forgive the
What do you
way I
mean
phrase that.
we passed?
Taking it a little Florida here.
Oh,
We way past
oh my gosh, I can't.
whether or not violence is about to take place.
Did you
It
just
is
say
happening.
violence?
And 4, the assault was made with a deadly
This is
weapon.
an auditory assault to my senses.
Yeah, assault rifle, that counts.
Ma'am, what is an assault
So that's the
rifle?
bottom. We know all those things are proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Let's take it up a notch. Aggravated battery is the next one. For ease, let's see.
David, make it stop.
Let's go to count 2.
This woman appears to be married, so
Page 22.
she's been cheated on before or currently.
Here, aggravated
And that's
battery
why
has
she
2
is
main
so
elements.
ticked off.
So basically, it is a battery, which is intentionally touching or striking someone or intentionally causing bodily harm to someone. But what makes it aggravated is the fact that either a weapon is used or there's great bodily harm, permanent disfigurement, permanent disability, or other. Clearly, we have that beyond a reasonable doubt. We know Tyler was actually struck, injured. Even as he testified before you, he was uncomfortable in pain from that wound, especially the one to his hip.
The one that made him nod out
You'll
like
live with
he
that
was
one.
on some fentanyl?
Next one
Madam,
up,
please.
second-degree murder. Second-degree murder has 2 elements. Travis Rudolph, next page over, you can flip it, page 21.
Oh, please don't flip it. Just let
Travis
this woman get
Rudolph
done with
intentionally
something.
committed an act which would have resulted in a death of Tyler Robinson or Keyshawn or
These
Chris.
poor
Their
young
names
men
are just not here because they
who
have their
just
own
brought
section.
their
Except that someone prevented him
weapons
from
over.
killing them or he failed to do so. Well, we know that someone who prevented him from doing so, at least for Tyler, was literally the force of himself getting out of that car and
for
running like hell
coming to rescue me
and trying to
from
get aid and
Helen
finally
Lovejoy
being able
over
to
here.
successfully get to the hospital and have that surgery. That's what saved his life.
After her
Mr.
behavior
Rudolph, stop it.
yesterday with the whole cheating and screwing
We also
everyone you
know
please, I
that
have
for
no
the rest
respect
of
for
them,
this woman, and I had
what
hoped that
stopped it
Comb
was
Over was going to
Keyshawn
do
literally pulling that vehicle away and
the
driving away
closing,
as
but
fast as
of
he could
course
until
not.
it literally couldn't go
God
anymore.
had to punish me for drinking with the
A
Swede
10-minute
last
drive for
night
him
and
took 7 minutes because he is scared and speeding
made me
Speeding.
watch this woman.
to get his friend to the hospital.
Except they passed
Unfortunately for
2
him, he has to live
hospitals.
with the
You
memory of
giant
knowing that he never made it.
Helen Lovejoy. Oh, please start crying. Start crying.
I want to talk about imminently dangerous to another and demonstrating a depraved mind, because that is what
Imminently?
differentiates
Or do you mean
first-degree murder from
imminently?
second-degree murder.
Oh my
First-degree
gosh.
murder is premeditated, second-degree murder, depraved mind.
This woman's going to
Imminently
push me
dangerous
to
to
a
another,
depraved
demonstrating a
mind.
depraved mind. That has 3 parts.
All
A
right.
person of ordinary judgment would
Are we
know
getting church
that this
lady out?
particular
I
thing
don't know if I can
is
do,
reasonably certain to kill or do serious bodily injury to another person. Well, yeah, shelling a car with 39 bullets, certainly. Yes.
Ma'am, have you solved
Number
any
2
drive-bys
is
here
done from
lately
ill will, hatred, spite, or an evil intent.
that
Certainly ill will.
weren't gift wrapped into
He's
your
upset.
hands?
He's mad. Again, this isn't about whether or not he had the right to be mad. It's what you do with that anger when you have it. Because
then
legally,
are
you're
we going
not
to talk about
justified to do this.
Dominica beating
Then
the
number
tar
3
out of this
is
man?
of such a nature that the act itself indicates an indifference to human life. Shelling a car with 39 things, as you know, 4 people are in it. Whew. Does that?
Are we done with church yet? Because y'all, this woman, I can't. She's done lost me. But you know, she is doing a dramatic
ever
reenactment
evidence
of
or indicate an indifference
a
to human
parody of
life.
a farce of
So we have that beyond a reasonable doubt.
preacher.
Let's go up to the next one, first-degree murder or attempted first-degree murder. Again, I told you what separates that.
She
is
has
this
such a
notion
condescending way of talking.
that a person must have some premeditated design to kill. Second-degree.
It's a very interesting mix of kind of soulful, churchy, and condescension, like Kamala Harris talks to people like you are completely 4 years old. So she talks to you like a preacher, a church lady preacher who thinks you're 4 and may or may not have any neurons to
doesn't
rub
care whether or not you
together.
wanted to kill him or not. Just that at the time, that's what you intended to do, and you
Hey,
have
Rain,
the
thanks
elements
for
for
coming
depraved
over.
mind, indifferent
This
to
woman
human
just
life.
will never stop talking.
First-degree murder wants you, requires it of the state to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that there's
Thank
some
you,
kind of
Jamie.
thought
Come
that
in
you
and
wanted to
save
kill,
me
you
from
wanted to, quote,
Helen Lovejoy.
exterminate, end.
I heard the soul. I'm just saying,
I want to talk to you a little bit about,
for the love of God, she's never going to end. Tiny baby Jesus. Why? Make it stop. Make it stop. She's never going to end. We're going to be
some
here
instructions that
for the
you're going
rest
to
of our
get that might
lives.
seem a little confusing in the self-defense instructions section.
Oh,
And
no,
one of
she
them
is
has
not going
something
to
to do
snipe
called
on our
principle.
ham.
Okay. So generally speaking, principle theory is about when several
Oh,
people
no,
are
she's going to
involved
go
in
there.
carrying out a particular act,
Hey, guys.
and they're all guilty because they intended
Me
for
or
the
the
act
lady,
to carry through.
both
For
might be
instance,
true.
we all decide that we want to commit a robbery. I'm the driver, you have the gun, another person, perhaps.
Okay, y'all. $20 says that Mark's gonna get up. Mark's gonna get up and go ham on her, and I mean both ways, because she's over here making fun of the things that he specifically had put into the what's the thing? The jury instructions.
Checks
Yes.
out the area. All of us in
Jamie,
concert
if
are making
you
sure this robbery happens the way
DM
we
me
want
on
it to
Twitters,
happen.
I can
It is
send
possible
it
for you all to be found
you,
guilty.
I believe. I'm
Now it's strange, I know,
vaguely
because
sure
the
that I
principal
can do
theory
this
here
now.
is about not Mr. Rudolph, because
Out of
clearly he's not
self-defense,
acting
'cause
in
this
concert with
woman-
anybody else. He's by himself with his 6R rifle. It's now asking you to consider whether or not the victims in this case were committing
No,
crimes.
I don't.
Whether or not
I lucked out. I
that's the
think God
reason
gave me a
Mr.
pass for
Rudolph
last
had
night, but
for
I
using
definitely
force
am not
against
at
them.
lawyer levels of
And the
breathing.
same question that you were
Thank
confronted
you.
with at the beginning,
Let me
is
see.
this
I can do
self-defense will
this.
come back
I am
again.
a smart, functional human being.
At the time that
Ish.
Mr. Rudolph was about to shoot and did in fact shoot, were these individuals, Keyshawn Jones, Tyler Robinson, Sebastian Jean-Jacques, and Chris Lowe,
I was going to
committing
say that, but I thought
felonies
Mama was pregnant
against
yesterday,
Mr.
so I
Rudolph?
think I just have
The answer is a resounding
prego
no.
eyes.
It is a resounding no. It is an
Lord, are we
offensive no.
preaching?
They were fleeing for their lives.
The choir boys?
The video proves that beyond a reasonable doubt.
Hey, Fed.
One moment, Judge, to confer with the counsel.
Same, Jamie, same. Okay. Wait, maybe I can do this in Messenger. Lord knows I cannot.
So before I leave you,
I am working on it,
I'm
Jamie.
going to ask you to not just remember everybody's testimony, take a look at all the exhibits that the state has provided for you,
Possibly.
and evaluate this case properly, looking at the law, and actually
No,
taking
we
the
have been
time to
spayed
consider
and neutered, like Bob Barker
what was
said.
happening at the time that Mr. Rudolph chose to shoot his firearm, because that's
Eliza, we are doing the closing statements. The state's attorney is getting done with her preaching session as soon as she feels that she has thoroughly wasted our time. I mean, presented her case. And she directly attacked Hammy, our favorite defense attorney. And you know he doesn't take stuff lying down. Tyler tried to talk to Mark in his first name. It's going to be ugly. And I'm here for it because I am queen of the pettyverse. And this woman has
that
irritated
frankly
the
is the
heck
most
out of my
important part of all of this.
mind.
Whether or not he cheated on his girlfriend, whether or not he was or was not
Eliza.
angry with her for
Oh
smashing
my
a
gosh,
PlayStation or any of
C-swept.
that stuff,
You're-
that is not the
y'all
point
make
of this case. That's all for
Y'all
context.
make this easier.
Told you at
I'm
the
trying to
beginning
figure out
that
how
there
to
will be
invite
things
Jamie.
at the end of this
'cause,
case that will not be that
well,
important.
I,
It will not be
Jamie,
that important. I wasn't trying
I
to
may
psych
figure
you.
this out the next
It's
stream
a fact.
because
This
I'm
case comes down to,
going to try to be
can you pursue
professionalishness.
people who you might think started it?
Oh, yes.
Can you pursue
Oh, yes,
them
Amanda.
even as they're running away and driving away and shoot them and kill them dead? The answer is a resounding no.
Oh,
Bring
for the
back
love
a
of
verdict
God.
of guilty each count. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Well, I'm
Ms.
glad she didn't just drop the mic.
Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to stand up and
Look,
stretch
could
your
you
hands
imagine
unless you're
living
familiar
with her?
Right.
She just done shouted in the damn mic, got all her spittle in it.
No? All right.
I swear to goodness. I have the invite. I just need to. It doesn't have the little Twitter thing. It's got the message thing. I am dragging all kinds of the butt today. I cannot go head to head with a Swedish drinking lawyer. So I will do it next time. Hallelujah. Oh no. Oh, Ham is going to go ham. Do you see that face? Oh, come over, man. Just let it go. I'm working on it, David. Like I said, I've got maybe 4 hours of sleep. I know. I went back to my church where we didn't have air conditioning, and I was like, "Good Lord." No, I don't have Twitter on my, I have it on my phone. I will y'all, I David, I know. I said I will do it next time. It has already been a day. My son tried to give me makeup. He ended up trying to put nail polish on my face. It 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 just Mr. Mo has real work. I just need to make enough money that Mr. Mo can be my tech support at home. I know, poor Keyshawn and the rest of his spineless friends who couldn't ever really sit up straight. When are we going to pay for their back braces? Oh, you can tell the rage is coming up in Mark. He's like, oof.
Okay, folks, take your seats again.
Yes, I
All right, you may
copied
begin,
it.
Mr. Shiner.
I am doing all the working things here with a thing.
Yes, sir.
Counsel and good afternoon, members of the jury. Hell has no fury like a woman scorned.
Oh, damn it. Y'all are already
Hell
going to go.
hath no fury
You're going to do it.
like a woman scorned. Great argument by opposing counsel, but
Oh,
I have to
no.
talk to you about the facts of the case, about what the
Oh,
witnesses said, about Detective Vandal and her lack of investigation. I didn't know any better. I was watching an episode of The Sopranos. Just the names changed.
oh, yeah, she shouldn't have
Somebody
made
disrespected
fun of him.
a mobster's daughter, and they went to go whack him. They go kill him. That's what this case really is. Not just the video that shows you what it shows you. Of course, it doesn't lie, but it doesn't show you the whole story. At the moment of truth, you can't see who's in that car and what they're doing or not doing. You'll never know. It's impossible.
Okay, I sent it. I did it
They can argue
in
all they
theory.
want. They weren't there.
Oh, I know.
Shameful that you didn't get to see the real evidence in this case.
Oh Lord, they're both
It's a
preaching.
shame that nobody cared. Thank God he had lawyers that cared, that asked questions, wanted to know the truth.
America's freedom dong.
10-minute
We need it
interview by
twice.
Detective Vandalin. 10 minutes for two people who are key witnesses and never go back to talk to them again. That defies logic.
I know Indigo. He was, he is a 4, but he goes straight up to a 9/10 with his pettiness. His petty takes him way up that rating scale.
See, the two reasons for that: total incompetence.
No, I think I did it on the direct.
Or
I slid into her DMs. I
She knew if
think.
she asked more
Maybe,
questions,
I don't. Y'all know
She'd have
I
a
should
problem.
not be allowed to internet by myself.
these guys were lying. Her incompetence would show. Either way, it shows. Either way. It's ridiculous. This is not Sherlock Holmes. This is Barney Fife. I'm sorry if I'm using old terms from shows, and maybe RFD, but this is crazy.
Sir, you know Florida is half full of people that are octogenarians. So they all knew who Barney
Palm
Fife
Beach
is.
County, one of the most wealthiest counties in America. A 10-minute interview will ask them what happened. And that's fair? That's fair to Mr. Rudolph? Arresting him at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning?
I respect our postal service.
2 10-minute interviews and shell casings and not give a damn about what really happened? Is that fair?
Yes,
How did
she
he
really
get away with
only
that?
she really only asked about 10 to 17 minutes worth of questions to each of the poor choir boys who got lost on their way to pick up Grammy's Beatus medication and happened to get into a fight because Travis is mean.
How? How do you not search the photo? You saw the photos. I'm going to show them to you again. You saw this. You've all been paying attention. We appreciate your sacrifice. We know it's brutal sitting there day after day listening to this. You saw the photographs. You heard the testimony. There's a food truck behind the gas station or the car shop. They don't even know if it's working or open or not. No one even bothered going back to check. Why didn't anyone check? Tons of officers from West Palm. They're at her disposal.
Yeah, that police
She's the
detective
producer
was,
of this case.
well, it's bad when cousins
This is a movie.
marry.
You'd probably walk out in the middle, but it'll change the channel. But you can't because it's real life.
Sir, you are correct, because while Helen Lovejoy was a preachin', I was watching about the actual Big Bang Theory. I'm a giant nerd, and I like to watch quantum physicists explain what happened as the universe started.
This is what she's giving
Okay.
you. There's not one mention.
So MLS Law he's actually Ham in Toy Story. The same voice actor is also the truck driver in Cars, and then he is the circus ringleader in A Bug's Life.
Mention from the state about Vandalin. Of course not. She's an embarrassment to the shield.
Dang it. I
She
just
shouldn't
got
even
that.
be a cop. Ridiculous, this investigation. And gives you questions that you're going to have for the rest of this case. You'll never know. No
Dang
one
it,
will know
when you get the
what
joke
really
last.
happened. It's impossible to tell. Why can't you look behind a fence? It takes 3 seconds.
If Woody shot
Why?
Buzz for disrespecting Bo
Why
Peep,
can't you get a ladder and look on a roof? I had no evidence there. I don't look for anything unless I know it's there.
yes.
It's the most absurd statement I ever heard. Been doing this a long time. A first-year cop right out of the academy would know.
Sir, you are state of
You
the
look for
art
things.
1974, and don't
How do
let
you know
anyone
it's there
tell
if
you
you don't look?
different.
She sounded like someone running for office that didn't know what she was talking about with all this, the totality of the circumstances. The investigation begins as soon as the arrest
Oh,
is made.
it is
What
petty
investigation was
voice.
done afterwards? Nothing. You asked her everything she did afterwards.
My inner smartass is like, did we just become best friends?
Zero. Took her a year and a half to get medical records. Why are they showing you all these photographs? Tyler Robinson's injuries. He told you he did it. There's no question he did it. They're not asking for sympathy, but they're showing you photos.
Yay! Now I just need to
Showed you an
thank you,
anatomical
Jesus,
chart, but
because
instead the
I
medical
thought I was
examiner
going
comes
to
in
lose
and
my mind
painstakingly
with
shows you every
what's her
single wound,
face.
every single trajectory, which is
I need
left, by
to
the way. No one was from
move
the back.
us
I
a
even asked
little
him,
or
turn
figure
my
it
back.
out
I
so
said, Sir,
we don't
any shots
have
come
law
from the
and
back?
tuck.
And he finally said no. They're all right to left.
You know what? It's good. I don't care.
Why are they showing you all this? But they don't take a single picture of my client, of Mr. Travis Rudolph, of
As
his
you
brother.
don't. I know. I'm
What's
so
going
proud
on
of me,
here?
Broken.
Most absurd statement. She needs a warrant. That's ridiculous. You don't need a warrant to take a picture of another human being in public.
Oh, was
It's absolutely false. It's a lie,
his kid the
along
one
with
that
many
said
other lies.
it's the butt?
Can't check a database. The gun expert comes after her. Oh, detectives check the databases all the time. Everything she said was
Oh,
false.
Lord.
Just
Y'all,
about.
let me see if
It's
this works.
ridiculous.
There we go. We
This is
don't
not
really
a
need to see Cliff unless he's gonna.
shoplifting case. Even if it
Um,
was, person accused of shoplifting deserves a fair trial.
I
She
give
did
up
absolutely
today.
nothing.
You
to
play
give
her
you
out.
all an ability
Yeah,
to
I'm.
really know what happened.
Oh, no, I
And
didn't
that's
mean
not
that.
fair. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to the decedent's family. Most of all, it's not fair to
Watch
you all.
do the internet.
That's not the way we try cases in America. Thank God we have this Constitution where the police are checked. Because some police do a good job.
Not these.
And other police
Yeah, not
officers,
these
as you've seen in this case, I'm not blaming all the cops. Most of the cops just did what they were told. But this lady was the captain of the show.
Yep.
Well,
She didn't give a
she's
damn
just-
for whatever reason. Either she
I'm such
wanted
a
to convict him and
ding-dong.
get a
I
notch
can
on her
do
belt
that
because she's a
and-
new cop. Oh, I got a celebrity. I got a former NFL player. I'm not going to give the jury any evidence to show I was wrong.
Well, why would you
Come
do
on.
that?
This isn't Russia.
This isn't Russia.
Not fair.
Are we
Not
sure?
fair to anyone. Most of all, it's not fair to you all because you didn't see. How would it hurt if someone went back even? Even if you buy
Let
the
me see if that-
excuse, well, I didn't look behind the fence.
It is what it is.
I had no evidence
We're
of guns.
covering
She
the.
ignored the hand. You don't need a doctor to tell you that.
Honest to God, I was going to work on
That's
this
common
this week,
sense. That hand could have been holding a gun. Why do I have to bring it up?
but
That's her job. The crime scene people told you that they saw that and they said it could have been a gun. The lead detective is either completely stupid or a complete liar or both.
shots fired.
Why didn't she even look at that?
Yikes.
Why?
Tell us how you feel,
Make a
Cliff.
big deal over we had to hire an expert. Of course we did. Police don't work for me. I can't call up 50
Oh,
cops
dear Lord.
into all these homicide scenes
Lapel
and start
mic.
telling them to do this, do that, do this, start collecting evidence. I can't get out there and start bringing down the crime scene tape and we talked about this in jury selection, and start looking for evidence that this cop didn't do. That's not my job. I'd get arrested. We'll talk about who should have been arrested in this case.
Oh,
Yeah.
The wrong people are sitting at this
shots
table.
fired.
Dominique Jones, Tyler Robinson, Keyshawn Jones, and Chris Lowe should be sitting there for the death of their friend.
Yep.
You know,
They have
it
the
is
wrong
refreshing
person.
to see a defense actually work for their
They got the
client
wrong
after the
person.
Letitia Stout
Because nobody
case.
cared.
Mhm.
And all they're going to do is show you that tape and play it 1,000 times so you hear the gunshots over and over and over. I
Okay.
heard thousands of gunshots in this case because I heard that tape over and over and over. It's 39. It is what it is. All in complete succession. You have no idea.
Cliff is from Cheers. He was the postal worker. But he also sounds like Ham from Toy Story. So
The state has no
I always
idea. I have no
picture
idea
him as a
what
bank,
Travis Rudolph was facing that day.
a piggy bank.
He didn't start this. Let's talk about the witnesses. I have a stack of notes.
Yes,
This is half my
let's
notes
do
in
it.
this trial from these witnesses.
Oh, yes.
And that's why we have you all there, because your
That would be
memory is
me
going to be
as a
better than
juror.
mine.
Be like, yeah, let's come on.
But I have stacks of notes
Let's
on what
read
these people
some
said and the
notes.
absurdity of their statements.
Oh, yes.
So the way they acted, the way they
I
disrespected
like that he's
us,
reading them for
made fun,
filth.
made believe
I'm
they didn't
playing,
understand
I
the
will-
questions over and over.
Yep.
And we'll talk about what happened down before Mr. Rudolph started shooting. Their own witnesses,
there we
whether
go.
you believe them or not, but their own
I am a
witnesses,
genius in my own mind.
Keyshawn Jones, didn't say anything
Indeed.
about that, but Tyler Robinson did, that Sebastian was fighting. And more importantly, Chris Lowe, I painstakingly went
Okay.
through it with him.
Chat, how long did church lady Helen Lovejoy take on her first go around? Because I don't know if I can deal with another 2 hours of her after this.
I don't even remember. What did they start at? Like almost 2? They started, so not bad.
That he
No,
said
she's
that
just
Sebastian was
insufferable.
fighting
Yeah.
not too far from the car with Darryl Rudolph. I had a reason for asking that because I know what the state
Oh,
was
don't
going to
give
argue.
me any ideas.
There's no reason for this. None of this happened. He's an aggressor. He's a violent murderer. Is that what this evidence shows? Did he come out of his house? Probably should have came out with a gun.
Well,
Maybe they would have ran away, these tough
there's a
guys,
lot
and
of
cased out the
preaching.
place first, but he didn't. That's reasonable. That shows his character. You saw him on the stand. Most mild-mannered person. Shocking. He didn't even get upset when the prosecutors are accusing him of horrible things. He's still mild-mannered. So let's talk about what happened. And let's keep
I
in mind what
I think they do.
this case comes down to.
It'll probably be comb over.
I thought that
Or
they
it
couldn't
could-
switch up
Yeah,
in between. So will it still be Helen Lovejoy with the bad wig?
probably not. It'll probably be comb over. I feel like, or it could be.
Down to like a
Black
closing
jacket.
jury selection. There's no who did it.
Oh, yeah, Christmas
Question is,
colors.
can they prove they made the charges? A rubber stamp vandalism investigation and didn't give a damn, didn't question Miss Rudolph, never did to this day. They could have sent her a subpoena, didn't care because they didn't want to hear anything contradictory. Then asked Darryl Rudolph to come on in and tell the story. You expect those two people to trust the police after they arrest their son and brother?
No.
No evidence. They knew what happened.
Oh my god.
Call a lawyer. Don't go down there unless you make sure everything's on tape. Cops can lie to you. You heard that. Vandalin said that. She has a right to lie to people except about their rights. She can put a tape on, put a tape off. But why in your right mind would you go down there when they falsely arrest your son and your brother without protection to make sure the truth comes out?
You wouldn't.
All they had to do was subpoena him. Oh, I've only
Yes,
done that
this
10 times
is-
in my career. You've
this
done
is
nothing in
live.
your career. The 2 or 3 cases you had. In this case, it was abominable. It's horrible.
Oh my gosh, he was also the abominable
jury
snowman
selection-
from Monsters Inc.
I was annoying you guys for about an hour and a half asking you the
I
question.
shouldn't know all the
Every
Disney
single one of
things,
you.
but
There's even
you guys, I've got all the
interruptions
children's.
about this. Every single one of you I asked. If you remember, let's go back to jury selection a couple of weeks ago, but I know you won't forget because I was annoying asking you these questions. What do y'all do
I was annoying.
if I prove beyond all reasonable
be
doubt,
fair,
that no question, that my
so
client was
are
acting
the-
in self-defense? And everyone said he's not guilty. Now you see why. Then you see the law and you understand it a little better. It's very confusing. It's a very complicated issue on justifiable use of deadly force. And then I said to you, what if the state proves he definitely was not acting in self-defense? No chance, no way. Beyond all reasonable doubt. Y'all said he'd be guilty. And
Oh,
then
for
every
goodness
single
sake.
one of you, I asked the question, what do you do if you can't tell? Maybe he was,
Yes,
maybe
the
he wasn't.
snowman.
Maybe he could have been, possibly not. Y'all said he'd be not guilty. Every single one of you. We maintain he was acting in self-defense. He is a hero to his mom and his brother. But there may be some unanswered questions. Why? Because no one searched. No one searched the path. Is his life worth a car drive down the path? Just to look. Is anything thrown out of the car? The next day, they knew there was a gun. They knew it that night, actually. That morning, they heard the guy with the dog, McMichael, Agent McMichael. Thank God for Agent McMichael.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because you wouldn't even know Tyler had a gun because he lied to the police.
What? The
hurt,
choir boy
injured, can't do
lied?
this. Oh.
Imagine that.
It's not what the paramedic said. I'm not saying the guy wasn't injured. Of course he was. He was sitting upright. He had all his faculties about him. He never mentioned to the police he had a gun. Then he goes to the hospital. You think these trained detectives are going to question somebody when they're under anesthesia or medication that they don't know what they're talking about? Of course not.
These
doesn't even tell the
particular
next
trained
officer
officers, maybe.
There was a gun. And his two friends lied. That 10-minute interview, which is absurd, never went back again because she didn't want anything to hurt her case. But now the truth's starting to come out. Y'all saw it a little bit. A glimpse of what she did or didn't do. That 10-minute interview, neither one of us had guns. Nobody in our car had guns. That's what they said. Is that true?
Well,
Is that the evidence in this case? And you heard from Tyler Robinson, who's actually a multi-time perjurer who's never been charged for saying, I didn't remember in a hearing under oath in front of this court. And they give him a free ride for that too. A free ride for lying over and over and over just so they can protect Detective Vanderlyn and win this case. Is that fair? You come into a courtroom and lie over and over and over and over and over, and I don't remember. You come to a deposition and say, I don't really remember, because Vanderlyn tells you, she tells Tyler that she had video, and he thought there was video, so he was afraid to say what happened. A couple months after this happened, he still was under the belief that the video's working. Vanderlyn told him, he said. And in June, when he gave his deposition, he couldn't really remember what happened at the door. And then he comes in here today. A couple days ago, he remembers everything. He had to be arrested to get here last time in November.
Well,
that's putting pressure on a witness to get him to say what you want him to say, to join our
drag
team.
him in.
That's the power they have.
He is not used to waking up at the crack of noon.
Probably not.
You saw the blue line here. You saw most of these cops sticking together. Miss Perlette shows the one cop from West Palm Beach, the picture with the pockets.
Wait, the cops will lie?
Yeah, so weird, huh?
Perlette walks up to the detective from West Palm Beach, shows him the picture of the guys with the pocket. Is that consistent with a gun? He looks at them. He doesn't want to answer. And he says, yeah, it was. It does look like a gun. I don't know if he had guns or not. I'm not an expert. It's not my job to know that. It's not your job to figure it out. It's their job. Why don't they even ask the questions? 5 months later, she said, I never thought about it until you raised it. They don't care. If you had a lawyer that was asleep at the wheel, you won't even be asked to even consider anything like that. Saw those pictures. These guys came armed. They lied. More importantly, Tyler Robinson, another lie when he comes in here. Until I get his deposition out, his prior statement. Remember that Sebastian was urging you in front of your friends to bring the gun, your gun? Remember that, sir? No. I didn't show him the deposition. Now he's stuck. Prior under oath statement that he testified to. Yeah, well, that did happen. Sebastian was urging me to bring the gun in front of my two friends, Keyshawn and Chris Lowe.
I still feel like
they all heard it.
I know, but I still feel like we didn't get to the real question of this trial, which is, why did you name your child Tyranny?
Yeah, it's true.
You know me as a lawyer would be like, okay, this is totally off topic, but ma'am, What is tyranny?
You explain.
Oh, I forgot I stopped him.
You're right there. Why are they lying
I
to the
am
cop?
on top of
I
things
love
today.
you.
Just
You heard Keyshawn's a
just
smart
a
guy.
regular
Going to school,
awesomeness.
wants to be a doctor or something, go to honors college. He knows what he's got to say. He's not going to say his friends had guns and point the guns or pulled out a gun. He'll be in prison. Of course he's not going to say that on the 911 call. It's not stupid.
Eh,
They all lied about not having
Yeah,
guns.
it's
Why are
questionable.
they lying about it? Common sense tell you
yeah,
that 4 guys go to somebody's house at midnight to talk? Hey, taking your shirt off, Mr. Robinson. It's hot out. Come on.
it's Florida.
Lie after lie after
mean,
lie. It's
It's
ridiculous.
possible.
It's possible.
Detective
but-
Vanillin. Does that mean anything to you? I don't even know whose black shirt it is, she said. Never even checked the DNA. What do you do if somebody doesn't remember Detective Vanillin or they come into courtroom and lie and says, that wasn't my gun? Now you'll never even hear that. You'll just find it there's a gun found, but you won't even know who said it was theirs because the person said they can't remember.
It happens.
Take the DNA, check it out. Y'all got your own lab. Why don't you do it? I don't mean to be funny, but DNA in this case means do not ask.
No.
Do not ask what the results are
Yeah.
of anything in this case. Do not ask
He
questions
is
from anybody.
On
Ask
fire.
a few basic questions.
Oh, he was so happy
That's
to
it.
use that one.
Is that fair?
To be fair, I'd be happy to.
Is
I'd be
that
like,
fair? You decide that.
yes.
Does that give you information? Is there a lack of evidence? Is there a conflict in the evidence? A reasonable doubt can come from the evidence itself, a lack of evidence, or a conflict. Why didn't anyone check the roofs or behind the fence or the path? How hard is that? There's
It was
hundreds
hard
and
for them.
hundreds of cops around who can do this. No one asked me to do it. No one asked me to do it. No one asked me to do it. That was every single witness's statement.
Well,
Vanillin's
to be
excuse was,
fair, I mean,
I had no evidence
they
there'd be a gun.
didn't.
Well, you did. You found out that night there was an extra gun, and you knew it wasn't Dower Rudolph's. Something should tip you off there's another gun. Go back to 40th and 30th, and Broadway rather, and go check now that you found the gun. Nobody asked me to do it. She didn't want to know. She didn't want you all to know. She made the arrest, and she wants it to stick. She writes the report, the probable cause. She's the saleswoman who can write whatever she wants and arrest somebody. How scary is that? She can ignore everything she wants and put in whatever she wants and charge somebody with murder. That's scary. 2023, that's the way this thing works in Palm Beach County. But that's not the end of it. Because as she admitted, she has to have probable cause, even if she puts BS in her report. And I'm sorry I used the word BS when I questioned her. It's the first time I've ever done that in my life. So I was so flabbergasted at her testimony that she can come in here and double talk and triple talk and tell you,
Well,
I need a
she
warrant for this.
did.
I need
I
a warrant
mean-
for that. It's nonsense. It's an excuse to not do your job. It's foolishness. I wouldn't trust that lady if she's giving me a parking ticket. I would double check to make
Ooh.
sure she knows what she's doing. My meter was expired. I'd go check my meter. Thinks she's wrong.
Oh my God.
The lady don't give a damn about anything in this case other than getting a conviction and not letting you see the whole truth. And that's not fair. They can play those videos all they want. I challenge them to play them 1,000 more times. Press the spot shotter another 1,000 times. You can hear those shots over and over and over. You can't see what happened in the final moments when 2 guys pointed a gun. She wasn't there. She doesn't know. I don't know either. But what's reasonable? Why would he lie about a gun? He forgets a gun in his pocket? Tyler forgets a gun in his pocket. Who forgets a gun in your pocket? Why'd you bring a
For the
gun?
love of all that
I
is
wanted to be a
holy.
man. That's what he said. He was riding shotgun. Well, he was riding handgun, but yeah, he was riding shotgun. He wanted to be a man.
This man
That's not
is
what a man
just
does. These guys aren't kids. They use the term boys over and over, and that's not fair either. They're not boys. These are men. He forgot he had a gun. Sorry. Excuse me.
well, it happens to the best of us.
He didn't forget he had a phone. Didn't want my phone to break. I left it in the car. Why is Keyshawn lying and telling y'all that his friend Sebastian brought his gun? Brought his phone. He saw the pictures with the pocket. Now he knows the whole case. He saw the discovery like they're saying my client did. He sees everything.
Sustained.
This guy knows what's going on. He's told everything and shown everything. He knows what's happening. It's common sense.
Oh, well, that did not work.
Why is he saying he had his phone with him?
We're watching
knows y'all
Mo
gonna
trying to
see
figure
pictures.
out
We
how
saw
to put
pictures.
the thingy over the thingy.
That pointy thing
It will
in
have
there.
to be
The
a
man says, "No
Mr.
way, that's
Mo
a gun."
thing.
At one point, I even think she said, when I was showing you the picture,
One day
you
we
got to be
will
crazy
all...
or something like that to think that's a gun. Wow.
Logan was so
Maybe I'm
nice
crazy,
to do it for me,
I
but
don't think I'm crazy at
everyone
that point.
greatly
Possible that was a
underestimates
gun.
my ability to
Good
talk
chance it
up
was a gun.
anything simple on the computer.
You're doing good.
You remember Dominique telling you that her phone messages wouldn't have mattered?
Well, of course
What
not.
happened? She got away with it, basically. Keyshawn told you the same thing, where he parked wouldn't have mattered. A lot of things wouldn't have mattered. They got caught.
Thank you.
These
No,
smart kids.
it is
These smart
fine.
young people. These are smart
Broken,
adults,
or-
whatever word you
Yes,
want to
I am
use.
Mr. Mo.
They fooled the cop, or she bought into
I'm
their
done.
nonsense, didn't ask any more
stopping.
questions.
Poor
I hate to say
David.
it, but
He
she's a
feels
dummy.
like Helen Keller's nurse.
Vandalin. She
Sustained.
didn't care.
It's gonna make you an
10-minute
instructional video. Don't worry.
I didn't arrest.
I need to be in.
What Vandalin said. She was sitting right there.
Here's the deal. I've watched all the YouTube. They're like, simple. This is how you do this. I don't think they understand how, like, turn on the computer. Don't burn anything down. I need
5
it.
hours.
That's what
The
She
full.
deserved 50 hours. I stopped.
Oh, you
because
should
it was
see the
getting late and
looks
tired,
on
and
Mr.
she
Mo's
all had
face
enough.
when I ask him, like, so do I touch the
Could've went over
thingy and do the
double or
thing?
triple that.
He's like,
I didn't arrest Dominique.
Yeah.
yeah.
To give you that
Like,
man
On the
face.
15th, she told me.
Man.
Yeah, he does.
She
He
erased
gives me the,
messages. Yeah, she told him. She told her that
he
day
gives me the, like,
because she
I
knew
didn't even,
Keyshawn
had
signed
I
the
known
consent,
this before
and now
we
the
got
gig
married.
is up. Now they're going to find out. She forgot. She
Oh
probably
no,
sent it to
we
Tyler.
are,
And plus, the
I am
months it
not
took
that
them
good
to
an
download
actress.
everything, and who knows what they were doing or what she was requesting.
I'm what
Miscommunication
this lawyer
between me and
called
the other
simple
officer does the phone.
when it comes to
Miscommunication.
technology.
She had the password from Tyler Robinson. Why is she hiding that? Because I'm asking over and over for it. Takes 2 years to do it. Is that fair? She was trying to get away with not doing that too. Miscommunication. It's ridiculous. Things that went on here. It's not fair.
Ridiculous.
It's not showing you the truth. It's not letting you even get to even close to being the truth.
Hey,
Good
Salvador.
investigator, whether they
The
did it
internet
that
is
night
trying
or
to
later
learn me
on, we'll go back
things.
to the 40th and Broadway.
And then told me not to
Take a
touch
look.
any more buttons.
Take an hour, half hour. Put a drone up there. The sheriff's office got everything. Millions and millions of dollars. Taxpayers' money. Thousands of police officers working for them. West Palm would help. Not a single person looked. Then you would know. Did they dump it there? Did they not dump anything? Can't tell you. You'll never know. Did they come back and get what they threw out? Why didn't Tyler shoot back over and over? You'd shoot back. Probably forgot to put a bullet in the head, in the chamber. Can't shoot
Well,
a gun.
they are not the smartest people.
That was some of the testimony from the expert, unless there's a bullet in the chamber. You know, some of y'all know shoot guns. You all know this. If you try to pull the trigger, nothing's going to happen.
Okay, here is what I really hope they did during voir dire. I hope they got at least 4 or 5 people that know about guns, know about, like, they are concealed carry people. They know typically you have one in the chamber, if you're using it for self-defense, those are the people, if I were a lawyering person, I would make sure I would want to get on the jury.
My
Absolutely.
client wouldn't know that if someone's pointing a gun at him. That's the testimony. The gun was found
I
on
know.
a bullet in the
I'm
chamber.
learning. So
I do
Pulls it out.
blame him. It's like he leaves the simple students
Maybe he
behind
took the bullet
to
out
go
and
golf.
threw it away. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. So many unanswered questions here. It's not Travis Rudolph's fault there's unanswered questions. The government took the job of prosecuting him and saying he's guilty, so they have to prove it. And y'all agreed to well and truly try the case against the state of Florida versus Travis Rudolph. Why didn't they treat their witnesses like they treated mine? Why did I have to get up there and start vigorously cross-examining them, arguing and fighting with these people? Until I was exhausted. Ms. Perlette was exhausted fighting with them. Is that fair? They represent the people of the state of Florida. Not winning at all cost. It's not winning at all. Nobody wins in this case. Everybody lost.
yeah.
There should be more people on trial in this case, not my client. And that'll never happen because nobody cares. But your decision is to decide whether or not Mr. Rudolph is guilty based on the evidence. That's it. No one's going to ask you, did Vandalin do a good job? Did anyone commit perjury? Did anyone tamper with evidence, a 30-year felony? Anyone carrying a concealed firearm, Tyler, in his pocket, never get charged? Is this what we're about? Is this the court system that you get a free ride? I'm a homicide detective. I don't worry about those things. Is that really fair? 30-year felony, a 5-year felony, multiple other felonies? Forget about conspiracy to commit murder, terroristic threats that you're sending to your brother and your brother sending back to you. Who knows what these people were saying to each other? We can't hear their phone calls. Who knows what she erased? The calls, the text. How come they don't take the phone from her that day? Why not?
Because they don't care.
What's going on here? Dominique Jones is like Hurricane Andrew. I hate to use this silly analogy, but she is. Almost 31 years ago, Hurricane Andrew hit down in Miami and Homestead.
Did he just compare her to like the worst Florida hurricane ever?
I think so. I think he's going there.
Is he trying to trigger the hell out of Wig Lady?
Yeah, we saw the hurricane coming. I don't know if y'all lived in Florida back then, but people who lived here knew it was coming, but nobody thought it was going to hit that bad, and it wasn't that strong. No one took it for real. Like Mr. Rudolph didn't take it for real. Hindsight's 20/20. He should have. He should have. No one in his family did. No one wanted to believe it from the girl they loved. A mom treated her like a daughter. And Keyshawn and Tyler and Sebastian and Chris, they joined this hurricane. They were little tornadoes in there and joined it.
Oh, God.
Easy to prove the cases against them, all the things they did, but they're not on trial. I'm just talking about it because they get a free ride for everything they did.
Yep.
All in the effort to convict Mr. Rudolph and not let you really know the truth about what happened here by not looking for evidence, by not testing evidence, by not questioning people properly. And the hurricane hit his house, and he didn't see it coming. He's guilty of not being smart with women. Whether he was cheating on his girlfriend or not, no one deserves to get whacked or beat up by 4 guys.
I love that they use the word whacked.
Even 1 guy. It's not fair. It's not their business. It's like a Sopranos episode. You go get your family, your brothers, and go whack somebody, go beat them up, go kill them. Not fair. Is that what? Are these innocent guys? Are they heroes? That's what you call a hero? People that go thugs, 4 guys, and where I'm from, you call them hoodlums. 1 guy's a vigilante. You bring 4 guys, it's a gang. Or a posse, as the state used that word. Posse, whatever word you want to use. That's scary stuff. Detective Vandalin, anyone ever come to your house at midnight with 4 guys? Thank God, no. She said that. Probably the only truthful thing she said, because she didn't realize why I was asking it. Asked multiple officers if
Mhm.
No, it's just it's prominent right here, but it's a little bit thinner down here. It's just graying. It's not
What is? Oh, I thought you were talking about like you, and I was like, what is? You have a
if someone's
mustache.
pointing a gun at you, can you tell it's loaded? No. You're going to shoot until you neutralize the force, until it's over. And they're trained. Yeah, I'm going to shoot. I'm not waiting to get shot first. It's common sense. If you see someone pointing a gun at you, you don't wait to get shot. You don't turn your back and run home like the state would want you to do. They wouldn't prosecute them for shooting my client anyway because they got a free ride. Be a dead man and be funerals and you read a little obituary, that'd be the end of it. You never know.
well, I mean, he's doing it much more effectively than Daryl Brooks did. If I'm going to nullify, and I'm a juror and I have, Daryl Brooks or Travis, I think I know which one I'm going to use my nullification on.
Thank God he's here. Said he would do it again. God forbid he was put in the same situation. It's better to be tried by a jury than tried by these thugs. It's better, safer, be alive. He lost 2 years of his life waiting for this. Prosecutor says, oh, Mr. Sebastian's poor family. Yeah, I feel sorry for them. They have nothing to do with this case. It's horrible that a mother lost a son. When you find out the circumstances, it's also horrible that Mrs. Rudolph was terrorized by the gang of people that came there. This poor lady already lost her husband. She's so worried about security, she has a screen that I personally have never seen a screen in somebody's home, in their living room.
Can I say that this makes Dominique the most trash bag garbage end of the crusty, like when you take out the trash bag and you realize that your kids have been putting stuff behind the trash. She is that kind of trash bag human being. I mean, she's like, I loved her like a mama, knew that she lost her husband in a accidental back of the heading for some reason. Knows she's so paranoid she doesn't even sleep at night, has her grown kids staying with her, and she's first of all gonna call the mom during Bible study and then send these punks out to her house.
She can't sleep at night.
All
Scared
the
to
side
death.
eye.
Yep.
And the state wants to beat
Reach
her
out.
over and over and over by asking the same question. Why don't you call 911? I couldn't. I was terrified. It's a miracle this woman's even standing. It's a miracle. Not asking you to have sympathy for her. Just trying to talk about the facts of this case. The real story about what happened and why she had all those cameras. She thought they were recording. Police have that. I don't have their video recorder. They're telling you it didn't work. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but according to them, it didn't. Hopefully they're being straight about that. They have Mr. Nash's videos that really don't show you any details. And you can also see the oil slick. The car went forward first. It clearly did. Take a look at these pictures. You'll see it. How in the world with this evidence and not testing anything and not questioning people properly, why didn't Detective Vandelin go and talk to Tyler Robinson's brother and friend that were at the house to find out what these guys were talking about? She knew about that. Never even went there. It's ridiculous already. Why not even attempt to do anything? I don't do something unless I know it's there. That is the most absurd statement I've ever heard in a courtroom. I've heard hundreds of people lie in a courtroom, but I've never heard a cop say that.
No.
Yeah, I do think that so in the Chandler Halderson case, I believe that the lead attorney for the state also implied that people were lying or to the jury, and that was objected to. So as a non-legal part of law tube, I can talk. I really can. I do believe, yes, that was a state objection, and I do believe that implying that someone has lied to the jury is not as kosher as it should be.
All right,
Ah.
sustained.
Never heard somebody say that. Ever, ever, ever.
Wiggling from the golf field.
I don't search unless I know it's there. They didn't arrest Dominique because she admitted she did tamper with evidence, a 30-year felony potentially. Well, if somebody walks in and says they committed murder or attempted murder or aggravated assault and they confess to it, they're going to jail. Not this girl. I think she's working with them, trying to prove that they're telling the truth instead of being cold and neutral like she claims she is. Our investigation starts when the arrest is made. That's baloney. That didn't happen. Never started. Put the handcuffs on him. You got all those shots. He's got to be guilty. I don't want to hear from his mom. I don't want to hear from anybody different than what I already did. I did enough. I did a good investigation. She told you that. She really believes that, or she's lying again. She knows she didn't do a good investigation. She can't even admit she made a single mistake. Not one mistake. I made plenty of mistakes during this trial. I'm not the best speaker. I made mistakes in questioning people, and I apologize. Hey, I'm sorry. You're right. That answer, you're right. We're all human.
This is why we love you, Ham.
The law on justifiable use or threatened use of deadly force in Florida, we'll talk about that in a second, but the burden of proof, and this is a long instruction, comes down to what the state has to prove is Travis Rudolph does not have the burden. This is on page 10 of your instructions. Travis does not have the burden of proving he was justified. It's not his job to do that. It's not my job to do that. And you all agreed to this in jury selection, and this is the law that you all agreed to follow. This is on the second paragraph down, indented paragraph, where it starts with Travis Rudolph does not have the burden of proving he was justified. In using or threatening to use deadly force. You don't even get the first-degree murder. You don't get to aggravated assault. You don't get to any of the lessers if he was justified in using self-defense, or you don't know beyond a reasonable doubt that he was justified. Then you don't even go to the instructions on murder, second-degree murder, attempted murder, because it's a defense to every single one of those charges, justifiable use of deadly force. Told you from opening statement, Travis Rudolph did kill Sebastian Jean Jacques and did wound Tyler Robinson and did shoot at the other men. It's no secret. Question is why. So he doesn't have to prove. Travis does not have to.
Hey, chat, if someone can figure out if they are sequestered and if they have a time limit today, I am not sure, but chat is awesome. And Farrell can find things like hot doctor.
Prove what the defense doesn't have to prove.
I mean,
doesn't have the burden of proving he was
silver
justified.
doctor.
You're not wrong.
In using or threatening to use deadly force. Instead, for you to find the defendant guilty, which is Travis Rudolph, the state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant was not justified in using or threatening to use deadly force, just like we talked in jury selection. It really boils down to this. That's why I wasted so much time, but it really wasn't a waste, as you can see now, because this is the heart of the question. There's no way any reasonable person at this point could say, with this evidence, beyond all reasonable doubt, he was definitely not using self-defense. There's no way anybody can say that in this case. Why? Because you don't have all the evidence. You have nothing other than a couple of videos which show what they show. And you hear the gunshots. It's never been in dispute, ever. It's not in dispute. But you can't see who's holding a gun and who's not holding a gun. You don't even know if Tyler Robinson was in the car. You heard the bullets ricocheted all around the car. Little pellets come out, and according to the medical examiner, they break up. You don't even know what was in his body. They didn't even show that to you. You don't know where he got shot. There's no blood in the back seat. How's that possible if he's laying on his friend, which is the first time he ever made that statement, as you heard in this courtroom?
Phrasing.
Slow says he wasn't even sure he got in the car. You can't tell from that video. I remember some cross-examination of Travis Rudolph yesterday where the prosecutor's showing him a videotape saying there's one guy already in the car. That's ridiculous. The guy was pressing the button to open up the door, so of course the lights go on. You can't see who got in which door. Vanillin may have to over and over and over. She's the lead detective. Who got in what door? I didn't understand what she said. Double talk. Couldn't tell you. Physical evidence doesn't tell you. You see, and I don't know if you saw it in this courtroom, but you do see Tyler Robinson going like this. But he doesn't fall down. No one checks the DNA. How do you know it wasn't Travis's DNA anywhere? How do you know it wasn't Mr. Rudolph, Dower Rudolph's DNA anywhere? Whose DNA's on that car? How did it get there? Some of the people, Detective Allen, didn't even remember there was blood on the outside of the car, but the crime scene people did. But no one checked it.
Mm-hmm.
Not important. Do not ask. So you found out that Keyshawn texted his sister first.
Yeah.
Travis is a dead man walking. He wants you to believe, well, I did it to satisfy her, make her feel better. He did it. He said it was in response. That's not even true. He texted her first. Travis is a dead man walking. Is this a person who's going to go over and talk to somebody with his 4 best friends, buddies? They all carry guns. Why is Chris Lowe trying on, according to him, not this day, but why is he checking his friend Keyshawn's gun in his pocket to see how it fits? Who carries guns in pockets? It's foolish. It's dangerous. Sounds like gangsters do this.
Look, if even in Harry Potter they tell you not to put your wand in your back pocket because you're gonna hex your butt off, I would think putting a gun in your back pocket.
Hex your butt off.
Read the message too, because you're gonna start giggling.
Oh my God, David. Oh my God, David. Ew.
Guns in pockets. He said he tried it on. Well, he didn't try it on, but he put the gun in his pocket to see how it fit. Before this case. What's the purpose of that? You get glimpses of these people. Glimpses of what's going on. You'll never get the full story because they're using all kind of social media calling where there's no tracking. FaceTime, there's no tracking. You can't hear or see what they're saying. You look up it online, you'll see this. It's easy to figure out. These young people know what's going on today.
Just learn it.
I don't even understand what Travis is talking about the.
Oh Lord, we just got to the I am old and I don't understand stuff part of the trial. And I am young and I don't understand stuff.
Dating stuff about girlfriend, not girlfriend. I don't understand these terms. When I was younger, you're dating someone, you're going steady. Today, the terms are completely different. But either way, you could tell this is a battered man. He really is. His neighbor saw it. He's always getting hit, and he stands there like this.
Battered man.
He had no clue that
Jeez.
someone didn't have a right to hit him. That's sad. He really didn't know. He's a mild-mannered guy. You saw it. If I'm up there and someone's accusing me of stuff, I'll be fighting back. He doesn't even yell. Doesn't raise his voice. He's calm. That's who Travis Rudolph is. I'm not asking you to find him guilty or not guilty because he's a football player, but certainly that's important. This girl was looking for a payday. I'm a realtor.
I'm a realtor.
He sold what she asked? I rented one apartment. COVID, I had nothing. I pay for everything. I'm a self-supporting woman. Then when she got pressed, but my mom is a medical assistant. That's a self-supporting woman. This is a woman who's a gold digger, who's hoping Travis gets back into himself. She's too dumb to see it. Like most men.
Okay. Doesn't everyone wish that we could just cut to Dominique's face?
I hope she's watching right now. Woo, I hope she's watching.
Oh, yeah.
I know. We could.
Not thinking with his right head. I hate to say that, but that's the truth.
Dennis, I can't help you with that.
She's a gold digger. Plastic surgery. You already got a boyfriend. You need plastic surgery? I'm mad. The last 30 days, I haven't seen him. I'm getting angry. I don't trust him. He's in Miami.
You got a boyfriend. You need plastic surgery?
Trying to get back into he had a contract to play in the CFL, the Canadian Football League, the following month after this happened.
Oh, Cliff.
Hoping to get back in the NFL, where has many friends, as you heard, who are major players. Didn't bring
There
their
has
names
been
out
a-
here to impress anyone. Didn't even mention
A
one of
terrible lack of hack in this trial thus far.
their names. That's the reason why he carries a gun also. It's around wealthy people or targets. It's not a joke. It's a dangerous community we live in. It's a dangerous country, unfortunately. None of those guns are illegal that he has. They're perfectly legal. You heard that from the testimony over and over. The drum of 100 sounds crazy, but that's legal. You can have 100 of them. You can have 50 of them, I asked the witnesses. Nothing illegal. He's trained. He has a concealed weapons permit. He's worried about security for his mom. She's worried about security. He's worried about security for himself and his friends. That's the truth. That's what's going on here. You got a glimpse of it. A glimpse. Not just like the prosecutor wanted you in jury selection talking about, well, if there's a flag over here, it's got to be an American flag. You don't need to open it or anything like that. And then I gave you the silly example. What if the court administrator said, well, we had no money from COVID, we're buying flags from China, and they put little symbols on there, and that was a trial. You really want to know the truth.
What does he
If
say?
someone's on trial,
Trying
anything.
flags?
He went on a little bit of a tangent. I think what he's trying to again reiterate is that the state did not do a complete
Okay.
investigation. I don't know why we brought up China flags and all sorts of weirdness, but
I was like, wait,
Thing.
what?
More flags on trial. You want to unfold it. Why would you put blinders on like they do? Remember watching the Kentucky Derby recently? Some of the horses have blinders. They can't see the other horses
is he comparing the detective to a horse? I thought she was a hammerhead shark.
because they don't want them to get off track. They want them to just go straight. Who has blinders on in this case? Who? Who has the blinders on?
Detective Hammerhead.
Probably the producer of this investigation, Detective Vanderlyn. And hopefully it ends here in this courtroom. So how do you prove right now, how does the state prove to you, no matter how many times they show you those videos and play those gunshots and show you the autopsy photos and show you Tyler Robinson's injuries? Forget about all the witnesses. No one mentioned them to you. No one mentioned you heard. I'm not even going to go through all this. This was an hour or two. Talk about all the nonsense that these people said and how they acted. You saw the defense witnesses. Did anyone act like that?
He takes notes like I do. He's got like 18 yellow notebooks full.
No, Jesus. It's gotta be heavy.
90% of it is, can these people sit up straight?
Yeah.
Do they have spinal issues?
Anyone playing games? I don't understand the question. Anyone prior commit perjury and say, I didn't remember? It's ridiculous. You saw that. You heard it. We trust all of you. That's why we put you all here together, that you use your common sense. That's something you should consider, how the witnesses acted, how they answered questions. Those are things that are important for you as jurors, and we all talked about it in jury selection too. How do you judge if someone's telling you the truth? I asked you all that question. How do you know who's being straight? What if they gave a prior inconsistent statement? Got to be shocked to learn that someone lied over and over at a hearing and in front of the same judge in a courtroom saying, I don't remember a thing. Maybe he doesn't want to get arrested again, so now he's on the team.
Now
The
he's on-
first responding officer, the guy wearing the mask. Y'all remember him? Probably the most credible I don't even know the right word, the most credible independent witness there is in this case. And he's wearing a mask. You can't even see his face or his eyes to judge his credibility, but you don't need to because you heard the intensity. I'm not going to say his name because you know why he's wearing the mask, but Officer P. You saw the intensity of how he was trying to save the guy. And he was so hyped up by saying, I was reliving the moment as he was talking. I'm sure you were too. That I felt my own pulse possibly. I was trying to make sure he was alive. That guy cared. He cared. That's what we needed on this case to find out more about what happened or how it happened, where it happened, when it happened, who did what, who said what. Go back and question people. But he said something very important. Besides trying to save this young man's life. You remember what he said? He said basically that as he drove by going northbound, he didn't see the car. Then he made a U-turn because he knew it was at 40th and Broadway. He passed by again and sees the reflection of his lights on two I forgot the words, something like figures in the background. Who weren't waving him down. Put that in his report. He testified to. He found that very unusual. What are they out of the car? What are they doing by the fence area? And not until he goes in there and says, y'all need police help. And they say, oh, my friend shot, my friend shot. He said, if it was me, I'd be out there jumping up and down. Hey, come get me. That's what he said. He was animated. That should tip off Detective Vandalin. There's something amiss here. Your first officer there says, this guy's were acting weird. What's going on? What are they doing there at the gate? Why not, Chuck? I think you know the answer by now. It was not winning at all costs. Everyone lost here. Everyone. No matter what your verdict is. But maybe something will come out, something positive. Maybe next time they'll do a better investigation. Maybe next time they'll arrest the right people.
Yeah.
Maybe Vandalin will get demoted and sent back to the academy to do her job properly.
Yeah.
Hopefully something good comes out of this.
Forget Dominique. I want
When
a
you weigh the evidence,
video of Detective What's-Her-Face.
one of the things you use is your common sense.
Vander-
I'll have a lot more common sense.
Hammerhead.
than I'll ever
Yeah.
have, so that's easy. Use your common sense.
Easier.
You should consider what the witnesses said, and when you consider that, how did they act? You saw how they acted. Tyler Robinson asking me if I need a potty break. You got to read flatter, Mark.
He is still burned in the ass. That's why I knew he was going to come out hot and popping because Helen Lovejoy attacked his inclusion on one of the jury's instructions. He's like, I understand that it might not be easy to understand. It's a bit ridiculous. And I was like, oh hell, Cliff's going to come up on a tangent.
Yeah, he
Call me
is.
Mark.
He called me Mark.
Not a
Asked
game.
me
He
how
doesn't
much
care what
he-
y'all think. Of course he cares what you think. That's why he's tailoring his testimony to you. People who say they don't care what you think really care what you think. Why do you have to say that? Why is Dominique saying, I'm really smart, just like my brother? She's conniving. She's dangerous.
She is.
She's not smart. Every time she gets caught, she has no choice but to say, yeah, I did do it. It's like Tyler Robinson. Yeah, a couple of days later, they find the gun. It's either him or Keyshawn, because it's going to come back to the gun store as Keyshawn. And Keyshawn don't want y'all to think he had a gun with him. Look at that video if you want. If you need to do it, look at it again. You'll see him rubbing his right pocket. What's he doing rubbing his pocket? Before anyone came out of the house, he's moving the gun. Why is Chris Lowe in the
Maybe
background?
playing
lifting up his
pocket
pants?
pool.
Yeah.
I don't
See all the
know.
pictures I have here. I blew up. He's lifting up his pants because he's wearing athletic pants, and a gun is weighted down, and his pants are falling down. All consistent with having guns. Why didn't they pull the guns out? They saw the cameras. Keyshawn said, no, I didn't pass the house. I drove and turned down Redwood. I never passed the house, but his two buddies.
You are no longer the only man there, Dennis. We have another man in the chat.
Said they passed the house. They drove right by it. They saw the cameras.
I
Chris
don't
Lowe even
doubt
said
it,
when I was outside, I
Cleveland.
saw the cameras there. That's why I stood back.
Yeah.
Tyler Robinson was the hothead. He couldn't control himself. State's wrong. Said that the only person said that Mr. Robinson pulled a gun out was my client. That's not true. Rudolph told you he pulled a gun out on him also on the side of the house. He's a dangerous man. These are all dangerous men. Principal theory is if they were committing crimes, they're all equally guilty. They're not on trial here, but why it's important is for you all to understand the principal theory. It's basically like the Three Musketeers. Here we got the four. One for all and all for one. And if one guy, like the prosecutor told you, is the getaway driver, and the other guy goes into the 7-Eleven to rob the store and he kills the store owner, they're both guilty of murder. Same thing in this case, the reverse. If these 4 guys came there to do what they were going to do, and you all know probably what they were going to do, most likely, definitely,
Mm-hmm.
despite what they have told you,
Share the
then
good
they're
news
all
of the
equally
Lord.
guilty. And then if they're guilty of ag assault, any felony, ag assault pointing a gun, any one of them, not 2, not 3 or 4, just one of them, they're all equally guilty of doing
It's your
that. And then
holy
Mr.
month,
Rudolph had a right to shoot
Salvador.
all of them because they're all together in this. They caused this. Blaming my client for coming out without his shirt? That was an insinuation the government had. He was sleeping. It's his house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he came out to start a fight? His own brother was so angry. He's cursing at him and screaming. You saw a glimpse on the video. What are you doing with this woman? Storms out of the house. The old neighbor telling the brother, tell your brother, Travis, it's the wrong woman. Sick and tired of hearing this nonsense. When DJ came home, he wasn't interested in this. He was working all day, trying to help his mom. He's a farmer boy. That's who DJ is. You heard that. He's got chickens, a potbelly pig. He's got all kind of bearded dragon, according to his mom. She thought it was an alligator. But whatever. This guy loves animals more than people. He's a homebody. He
And
stays
I
in his room.
heard he
That's what he
walks
does,
his
and he
goat.
works, and he's sacrificing his life for his mama. That's
That's
what who
cute.
Daryl Rudolph is. He
Even
wants
more.
to be in Alabama with his horses and growing crops. Not a violent young man. Says Rudolph should be proud. She raised 2 very well-mannered sons. You saw that. And he's sacrificing for his own mom to be with her. And that's admirable. He did nothing wrong. He's a victim in this case. He's a total victim. He's not involved in the relationship. He's not involved in any of this nonsense, what's going on between Travis and this young lady, Hurricane Dominique.
Hurricane.
He's not involved in this.
Oh, again.
Comes home from work, and what happens? Oh my God, all hell broke loose when she opened up his phone. I didn't bring it to his phone. I had the password. He gave it to me. Who cares? He went to his phone. Come on. You didn't trust him. She lost her payday. She was hoping to win the lottery. She probably promised her brothers. Remember that text from Tyler? Hey, I love you so much. I got you.
I feel like that's
Probably
stretching.
promised them when Travis makes 20, 30 million bucks, I'm going to share it with you guys. Not anymore. Just got thrown out of the house. You know it's the end of the relationship. Tries to break the windows. He hits him with a liquor bottle, breaks his phone. Oh, how come the police didn't show you the phone? Why don't they open the phone and charge it up and show you now? I guarantee it doesn't work. What's the difference? Does it really matter? Trying to insinuate he took pictures of himself? That was vandalism. He took his own photographs of his injuries. Why didn't you blow them up so they can see him? I don't want to do that. Why didn't you do that? And then it really comes out, well, he didn't blow him up. His phone was broken and his sister took him. And the police still have his phone, so there was no way for us to get him out of that phone. Had to come from the sister. But they're trying to leave you with a different impression about everything in this case. Everything, and that's not fair. Be straight. You all know that. Was the witness honest and straightforward in answering the questions? I don't think so. Most of them did not. Not the civilians. Not at all. The witness have some interest in how the case should be decided. Of course. Everyone did in this case.
The only straight witness was good old neighbor man who got his Webley because he was in between death wishes.
Yeah.
Old Charles Bronson.
They don't want to be charged with anything. They're on their team. You even see the way the officers slant their testimony a little bit. You saw that. You saw that with several of the police officers. Not all. Not the firearms expert, not the first witness, not several of the West Palm officers until they were showing that picture. And then, oh, it looks like a gun, but I don't want to say it. But he had to say it. Any pressure been used on the witness to affect the truth? Well, coming into a courtroom, being forced. I was escorted by 2 police officers. They didn't put handcuffs on me. Well, that's being forced. And then you lie about everything. Now you're afraid you're going to come in today. You better say what you need to say. Because you could be arrested again. You could be charged with perjury. You could be charged for lying and impeding an investigation. How do they have the nerve to give you a witness here? He's perjured himself over and over and over. And come in here and tell you he's telling the truth. It's not possible to know that. You would think the opposite, the actual opposite.
I don't know if they will, because I mean, then they'd have to like stick their tail between their legs, right? Be like,
Mr. Rudolph pled guilty, and it's in the instruction on page 2. The defendant is not required to present evidence or prove anything. We're not. We did more work than this investigator did in this case. Way more work to figure out what's going on. Deposition in June. I'm trying to find out where the 911 tape is. You heard that. Where's the 911 tape? Several months after this happened. Where is it? I don't know. Didn't get it until November. After I've already questioned her. Why is Chris Lowe telling you he made the call on the way out? Then you find out it really isn't. Maybe he's lying, maybe he's mistaken. Maybe there's another call. I don't know. Where's proof they even put it on the GPS? If you would have took Chris Lowe's phone, you would see that. I submit they were trying to hide evidence before they were even going to the hospital. And if you would have Chris Lowe's phone, you would know what was said and what was done and whether or not he really did GPS the hospital. Of course, he could have missed the hospital under the strain of trying to get away from what you just caused, but certainly still traumatic. Could have passed the hospital. Well, why not get his phone? Then I could at least show y'all if he really did do that. You'd see it for yourself. Did he GPS the hospital or not? If he didn't, you'd have another question. Why are you not GPS in the hospital? Would reaffirm they're probably dumping stuff. Have a dive team. Check the waterway. Do anything.
I guarantee they were stuff. I guarantee it.
Yeah, these were not choir boys and church lady going on about these kidults. About lost my mind.
If Michael with the dog, if you would have asked to go down the path of the car went, could you go? Of course. Wasn't asked. Why don't you go back to 40th and Broadway? Did they ask you to go? Did you even know about it? No. No one even told them. Bring the dog. The dog's phenomenal in finding ammunition. You heard he's great. Passed all his tests according to the agent. We didn't want to find any more guns. Vandalin had enough. Because now she's getting nervous. She made a false arrest.
I don't think so.
Not looking into this. Doesn't want you to know.
I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Got it.
The
But he
jury.
got it real late.
Eventually, she knew this case would come to a jury, and she was trying to hide everything. Couldn't even get a 911 tape right. Couldn't even get the medical records. Took her 2 years to do that. Couldn't get Tyler's phone checked for a couple of years. Nothing was done right. It's hide everything. Hide the ball. She knows that I would get a copy of the statements that her alleged victims made. Give me 10 minutes to find out what they have to say. Come on. It's either incompetent or you're intentionally trying to hide something. The judge read to you what reasonable doubt is. Use your common sense. Follow the directions. Follow the law. That's all we're asking you to do. It's all we've asked you from the beginning. There's no questions here at all about whether that gun's in the pocket. Was there a gun in his hand? But what if there was? $600 an hour. It's expensive. I wonder how many thousands and hundreds of thousands they spend on this case, the state, of your money, of the taxpayers' money, my money.
Come after their money.
Mr. Rudolph has to pay a couple of $1,000 to hire an expert because I can't call anyone up who for the police because they don't work for me. I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not wearing a badge like they are, like the police do.
I like that.
So, yeah, I have to hire someone. So you hear a guy who went to Harvard, was a medical examiner, the head medical examiner in Palm Beach County with so much experience, and they're making fun of him how much money he makes and want to know every detail. How obnoxious is that? He's entitled to get paid. I only brought out the $500 that their medical examiner charged me to talk to me to show you how unfair that is. He doesn't charge the prosecutors to talk to him, but I got to pay.
Yep.
Is
Get him,
that
Flip.
fair? I don't make the rules. That's what he said. I don't make the rules.
Guys.
He doesn't know anything about having a death grip. He had zero experience. He doesn't even know anything about guns. He said he barely has any knowledge about guns. So, of course, I have to hire someone who's reputable, who has a good background, who went to one of the best schools in America, who has tons of experience on both sides, being a former medical examiner, and now he's a private consultant and a family doctor. He didn't come in here and say, yeah, he definitely had a gun in his hand. He could have. He didn't say that. That's consistent with a gun. Well, could have been nothing? Well, it's possible. Anything's possible. But he said it was consistent. That's his testimony. That's all I wanted y'all to see. That it's possible. A good chance. The questions that were never asked or answered by the police. So that's why we did that. You look at that. If you've been around this field, you would look at that and know in 2 seconds there's a good chance he had a gun. Maybe it was something else. What else could it have been? There was nothing in his hand. They want you to believe it was a spinal cord injury. There's no evidence of that at all. In fact, Dr. Maracchini didn't say that at all. I don't remember their doctor saying it, but if you all remember that, that's fine. But he said it could have been a ball. Remember that? Could have been a ball, could have been a phone. Why would anyone get rid of a ball if it was in his hand? Still be in his hand when the police got there. Sebastian's hand. Why would anyone get rid of a phone if it was in his hand? You know it wasn't the phone in the door. I have to work hard on that one too. Where's your phone, Tyler? Eventually he admitted, I showed him the pictures and it had that fancy design on it. He had some designer and had shattered by a bullet that went through a door. And there was no blood or hair or fiber on it, according to all the witnesses. So not consistent with any reason why Sebastian would be holding it. Did anyone have your password? How about Keyshawn? Nope. How about Chris? Nope, for your phone. The last question was, how about Sebastian? Well, maybe he broke into it. Come on. That's ridiculous. Maybe he broke into it. He wasn't holding his phone. He didn't know what to say. He knew there was a problem with that, just like he knew there was a problem with him dumping his gun. And then the gig is up when they find it. He's changing and swaying his testimony to try to convince you. Well, maybe my friend did have my phone, but you know he didn't because there was nothing on it to prove it at all. No blood, no hair, no fiber, nothing. Zero. But why would anyone take a ball and hide it? Was it in the car? There was nothing in the front seat consistent with what he would have had in his hand. These gangsters would take guns and try to hide them. Shell casings, anything that would show they're guilty, just like erasing phones. That's who they are. That's who these people are. Erase text messages. Unfortunately for them, unfortunately for you all, you got to see Tyler's phone that was in the car. It took me 2 years to see it, but you got to see it in this trial. And Keyshawn's phone was stuck in the car, so they couldn't erase things. Maybe from the cloud they could. I don't know enough about that. But you saw some of the most important messages. Dead man walking. Travis is a dead. I've never heard that, ever. Except maybe in a movie. Maybe you all have. It's not hyperbole. I don't even know what hyperbole is. I have to go look it up.
Sir, you know what hyperbole is. I'm going to need you to stop. Now, those chuckleheads did not know what hyperbole is.
No.
I was confused what that even meant. But y'all know what that means. Travis is a dead man walking. You all know what that means. These are glimpses of what Travis faced that night, and his brother, and his mom. These are the people that he had to interact with. This isn't just what you see on the video. This is everything, those 8-10 minutes of terror. That bam, 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 bam.
Only if you're going up to someone's house committing a crime.
Bam, like you heard DJ knock on the desk here. You judged his credibility. This guy wasn't fighting with any of the lawyers or me. He answered the best of his ability. You hear all these prior statements he made under oath that were different. You didn't hear it from Mama either. You didn't hear it from Travis either. These witnesses did the best of their ability and told you what they believed happened. Their witnesses, their civilians, all of them, every last one of them was fighting tooth and nail, playing word games, asking me to repeat the questions, asking Ms. Perlette to repeat the questions when they knew they couldn't answer them. And then they didn't admit something until they were caught in deposition. Then they would say, oh, yeah, I did say that.
Yep.
You saw the characters of these people. You got glimpses, little glimpse of who they are. What brother? Is this chivalrous? Brother and friends? This is chivalry? This is ridiculous. This is a hit. Are they going to kill him or beat him up severely? He's got scars on his body. That's serious bodily injury. It is. Why is Mr. Estes? State said he was the independent witness. Why in the world? Man who just retired, who built power plants, has a boat, trying to live in peace, likes his neighborhood, telling you that Travis is constantly arguing with his girlfriend. It's annoying. They're constantly fighting, and she's always hitting him, and he's there with his arms folded. That day, his best friend died. He wasn't in the mood for any of this nonsense, just like DJ wasn't. And once again, here he goes again. And then he hears the car leave. But then he's half asleep, he told you, or sleeping. I don't remember his exact words. It's around midnight. You hear slapping and punching and kicking. Doesn't see the whole thing. But he looks out. And he sees it's a really serious fight. I think I asked him, was some kind of serious fight, or did it look like someone could get seriously injured? He goes, someone's trying to whip someone's ass. That's what he said. I think those were his words, actually. And he kept saying it was 3-on-1, 2-on-1 with the Rudolph brothers. Constantly. This is what he sees. He's not even outside. He's in the comfort of his own home. And he's scared to death. First time ever, he said, he grabbed his gun, went into his bedroom. This happened fast. It's 8 minutes, roughly, 8-9 minutes of what happened. Go in your bedroom for a minute or two, you're going to miss a lot. Unfortunately, the cameras, you didn't get to see the cameras because you would have saw all this, unfortunately. I hope to God those cameras really didn't work, that they're telling you the truth. But either way, you don't have them. We can't speculate on what really did or didn't. The evidence is they didn't work, so I'll have to live with that. He goes and grabs his gun. He's not involved. No one's at his house. He's not outside helping. Why does he get his own gun? That's really important. Maybe it's not. Hey, do whatever you think is right, but why does he grab his own gun and then put the clip in it and a bullet in the chamber? And he knows how to use guns. He's a hunter. He's got plenty of guns. He knows how to shoot them. Plenty of practice. Why does he grab his own gun? He's not even involved in this in any way, shape, or form. He's annoyed. He just had one of the worst days of his life with his best friend passing.
We're all annoyed.
Grabs his gun in case it came to his yard. Well, Travis is unreasonable for grabbing his gun, and he's actually getting the crap beat out of him and his brother and worried about his mom, who no one's paying attention to. And he has a gun pointed at him. Even if he didn't have a gun pointed at him, he could have came out with his gun. Shouldn't have came out, but unfortunately, Daryl just reacted. As you see, he does react, unfortunately. Even when he talks to you, his answers are quick. He's not sitting there formulating his answer. Not a guy who's thinking, oh, what do I say about that? Can you repeat that question? I don't understand it, so I come up with a better answer. He talks right from his heart. I even asked him about the silly question. It wasn't silly, but it really happened, about getting hit in the head with the Patron bottle. Can you describe how that happened? And he said, yeah, it was like the whack-a-mole game at Chuck E. Cheese. It's not a guy thinking about his answers. He's quick. That's what he thought. That's a game where you sit there and have a mallet, and a kid's game, and these little things come up and you bang them down real hard. That was what he's trying to express to you, what he saw this girl do to his brother. That's all. This isn't a guy trying to formulate a story or figure out how to make it better. Linda Rudolph, completely different than the state's witnesses. She could have easily come in here and tell y'all I saw guns. I saw them pointing guns. I saw the guy without the shirt pointing a gun at both my sons, like they both tested. She didn't say that. She didn't see that. She was so flabbergasted and so out of her mind at what she was seeing, she couldn't even open her phone. She was in panic mode. Panic mode. Is that hard to believe? Is that reasonable? Mr. Estes didn't even see Travis go in the house. He only went in the house when he saw Tyler pulling out the gun. And that's when he realized, I should have came out with my gun, and goes back and gets it. So if he's this killer, this crazy psychopath like the state wants you to believe, why doesn't he just come out of the house? Why isn't he just sitting there in the window open, knowing that these girls sending their brothers over, his girlfriend sending the brothers over, and just waiting and just pop them off one at a time as they come up to his house? Could have done that. Could have hidden in the bushes. He didn't do that. He showed so much restraint, more than most people, and he looks up there at the camera, at the screen in his mom's house. He thinks he sees the brother, little bro that he has in his phone. Kind of guy he is. He puts the gun down. I'm going to mediate this. I'm going to calm it down. They're not going to do anything in front of my mom. Big mistake, but he did, unfortunately. If he came out with a gun, the Vandalin would have arrested him and charged him with murder if he would have shot someone while they're trying to kill him. She didn't care. You shoot somebody, you're going to jail. That's the evidence that I see. I don't care about nothing else. I care if you're guilty or not guilty. I'm charging you. Either way, he loses. But anyway, at least he's here and he's alive. So he puts the gun down. That shows a lot of restraint, more than most people could do. Way more. Knowing that it's now coming to fruition. Dominique calls mom. And mom is so worried from Bible study and watching videos with her twin sister that she calls her and tells her, I'm sending over to F up your son or kill your son. And then she texts her back and she says, all I'm going to tell you is that and that's the text we have. Picked the wrong one. You picked the wrong one. Yeah, well, we know that now. 100% he picked the wrong one. She was Tony Soprano. She ran this gang that night. She gets her brothers to go do her dirty work. Really is like an episode of The Sopranos or a mobster movie. It's hard to believe. If you weren't in this courtroom, you wouldn't believe it if I told you this story as my neighbor. But you got to see it. They don't mean anything, those text messages. Hyperbole. Shoot his shit up. Well, that means to shoot everything in the house but people. That's what she told you. It's ridiculous. It's silly. You know what she meant. This is what Travis is dealing with. This is what EJ is dealing with. This is what the mom's dealing with. Look at the credibility of all these people. Watch the videos 1,000 more times. Who cares? You'll never, ever see, ever, unfortunately, what really happened. Why is there an oil slick that goes forward? The car went backwards. Seen them explain that one. Maybe the video is on such a weird angle, you can't really see what's happening. DJ's telling you it's not him. When he testified, the prosecutor's showing him the video, and there's a guy walking. That's not me. Maybe that's Hack. Who's Hack? Who's Hackstraw?
Oh,
Why is he getting texted the address of 550 Teak Drive? Their friend.
Hackshaw.
Tyler's friend. Keyshawn's friend. Why are they texting him? Why doesn't the investigator go do an investigation on that? Why wait 2 years? Get that phone sooner. Go get Hack's phone. Find out where he was. You can triangulate it. You can tell where that person was. Go do a full investigation.
Aaron.
Was there more people walking around that neighborhood? How
Aaron,
Travis
they're
is
talking
car
about your
broken.
man.
The window. Vandalin didn't know. She's the lead investigator. I don't know. Both the Rudolph brothers told you we didn't see her break the window. She left. Did she come back with her brothers, her friends, and do it? She said she didn't remember. That's what Miss Perlette asked her. How'd you do? When did you do it? I don't know. Could have checked her phone. Find out where she was at any given moment. They didn't do that.
He needs to
Maybe she
circle
was
it
there
on
giving
down.
directions
I
around
know.
the corner. We'll never know. But she admitted for the first time ever she broke the window. Is that true? We don't know. Is it Hack? Is it somebody else who showed up? Is it a fifth or sixth guy?
they are impugning hack.
Yeah.
Oh. I remember when I was a young kid in kindergarten and first
We don't
grade and
need-
stuff like that. I remember there was a three monkeys with see no evil and hear no evil and speak no evil. Kind of what we have here. Don't look, don't talk. I don't want to know
Same,
anything.
allegedly.
How do you direct a crime scene people who are, some of them are very experienced? They know what they're doing. Why not direct them to go do their job? They're waiting for you as the lead detective. I wasn't asked. I wasn't asked. I wasn't asked.
Are we done? Please,
Defense
Cliff.
submits
Be
that
done.
this should be a 5-minute verdict. Not asking you to say, go back there and say anything but the truth. Based on what you heard and saw in this courtroom, that's it. You're limited to that, what you have. That's it, what you were given. There's 100 conflicts. There's 100 reasonable doubts here. There's a lack of evidence everywhere. But most importantly, I urge you all to take a vote. Did they prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Rudolph was not acting in self-defense? Did they prove that? That's what this boils down to. And if they didn't, the case is over. It's not guilty. Better luck next time. You didn't prove it to me. And then whenever you feel about what happened, didn't happen, who should be charged, who shouldn't be charged, you can talk about it outside the courthouse. But in this case here, the only question you're asked is, really, was he acting in self-defense? Did they prove he was not? And I submit there's no possible way you can say yes beyond all reasonable doubt in your heart of hearts that he was not. And if you all agree on that, the case is over. You don't go to first, second, manslaughter, because he's not guilty of a crime at all. He's not. Maybe he's not good enough. Possibly he's not good enough. He's not.
I mean,
This
he's
man was
hitting
acting in
all of the
self-defense.
reasonable
He
doubt.
defended his
Yeah.
brother, defended himself. I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm not going to go through every photo. I could stand up here for hours and talk to you. It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
thank you,
You've heard
Already
it.
Cliff. I love
We all
you.
remember this case. And they cannot answer that question in the affirmative.
He
that
is
they
protecting
proved
us from
beyond all
church
reasonable doubt that
lady.
he was not acting in
Yeah.
self-defense. So justice calls for a not guilty verdict. Send a message in a quick verdict.
Sustained.
It should be a quick verdict because you don't have the evidence. You'll never have the evidence, and you all know why now. Thank you very much.
Okay,
All right,
chat.
thank
How
you,
long
Mr.
does
Shiner.
church
There'll
lady
be,
have?
rebuttal closing, how long, roughly? Well, you don't have to take all 48.
Oh, please.
All right, it's 4:26. I want you to take that into consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have you stand up.
I thought he
Just
said
a minute,
20.
If you will, please.
Minutes.
Oh,
And it's
God. Well, at least it's comb over.
Yeah, but he never uses the microphone, so
Yeah, but then we won't hear him and I won't be irritated.
oh good. Well, I am going to have to go. I have an eyelash appointment, so
Apparently, we need a
Oh.
restroom break, so
Hope there's a break in
it's
5 minutes.
4:26.
Yes,
Let's make
I
it,
am
in
hoping
what,
he is quick because I
14
have
minutes,
to
I guess.
cook.
Be back in
I have to make
14
tacos.
minutes, 13 minutes. All right, 13 minutes. Remember to obey the 3 of the 4 cardinal rules. Leave your pads. Do not discuss the case. You're not.
Okay.
All right. Well, have fun, my dear. I will be listening to you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Sir, your hair, but
All right, welcome back,
Oh,
everyone. Go ahead and take your seats, please. All right, Mr. Clausen, you may begin the rebuttal closing argument.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Shiner said during about his 90-minute closing argument that, unfortunately, we're never going to know whether Sebastian or Tyler or both of them pointed guns at him and his brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to steal a phrase that the defendant stole from me from my opening statement, actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words.
Sure.
April 7th, 2021, just turning into 12:11 a.m. Now, Mr. Shiner, during his entire closing argument, kept saying this whole thing took 10 minutes, took 8 to 10 minutes. No, it didn't. No,
You know,
it did
I like
not.
his closing
You have all these videos
because
and
we
evidence.
can't
If
hear
you
it.
ever have a doubt as to anything I'm saying, you have the power to come back in this room and watch every single video. Once I'm done talking, once the judge gives his final instruction, all that evidence is yours. Do with it what you will. But in terms of this video right here, you're going to see an earlier video of when that car pulls up first. They all get out of the car. Then the car starts to move up a little bit. It parks and they start walking to 550 Teague Drive. That is just before 12:06 a.m. They are walking to his house just before 12:06 a.m. 12:11. We're going to see them getting back to this car. This whole fight, remember Dr. Maricini, hey, an ultra marathoner, that's where you start getting rigor mortis. This entire fight took less than 3 minutes probably. From the time it took them to walk to the front door and commit their sneak attack. You ever seen an assassin that bad, ladies and gentlemen? A sneak attack? They walked up to
Sir, I don't think you want to be using the words assassins with those fine young
their
gentlemen.
front door. Not wearing any masks, nothing. That's the worst sneak attack I've ever seen. They could have went in through the side door. They could have jumped into the backyard where the farm is with all their guns ablazing. That would have been a sneak attack, and that's not what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Why? They weren't going there to kill anyone. They were not going there to kill anyone. Did they want to have a talk with Travis over what they heard he had done earlier in the night? Absolutely. And as my colleague, Miss Edwards, says, you might not like the time of day. It might be rude. It might be inconvenient. Nothing illegal about a loved one going to someone's house a couple hours after something like this happened, saying, what's the deal? Do we really think this fight starts if Travis comes out and says, I'm so sorry, man. Everything got crazy. She got crazy. I don't know what happened, but I'm sorry.
She was
Do we
hitting
really think
him.
any of this happens? Do we really think they decide to still jump him when he apologizes? No, but that's not what this
Why the hell does he have to apologize?
defendant does. He goes on the offensive. He goes on the offense. And that's why you're all sitting there and he's sitting there. He could not control his anger that night, ladies and gentlemen, and he made sure they could never come back and disrespect him. 90 minutes, Mr. Shiner spoke. What he left out during that is what not only this defendant said his brother Daryl was, but where Daryl said he was. Remember, they did a whole demonstration right in front of you. Both of them. Couldn't be more clear. 10 feet, and he was on my right. That's the only way this defendant gets his brother to be able to get up and say, I saw those same guns pointed at us too through the windshield. Let's take a look at the video because the video does not lie.
Yes, he was.
Here they are getting into the car. Here's it backing up. The first shots. Think you'd all agree with me? Those first shots come basically at the 11-second mark. So remember, 11-second mark. This defendant, along with his brother, said, when those shots start firing out, Daryl should be somewhere right over here, right? He's on his right-hand side, 10 feet away, to be able to see in the windshield. Daryl should be right here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how many seconds go by before Daryl comes on this video.
You're blocking the view, Mr. Clausi.
Just don't let him get his.
I'm gonna go back. Here's Daryl right here. Is that to the defendant's left, 10 feet away, or is that Daryl catching up behind him when the threat was completely over? If you can't see this on this screen, ladies and gentlemen, we have this laptop. You can look at the laptop screen. He is right there. There is nobody else outside. That is definitive. And now Mr. Shiner is saying, well, not only is there a phantom gun, there's a phantom. You can watch Daryl run after Tyler. You can watch him do it. See the figure? Coming across, speeding up now, running past his brother, and running up that driveway. That is Daryl Rudolph, ladies and gentlemen. He is not only not where he and his brother say he was, he couldn't be more wrong. He couldn't be more wrong about where he was when those shots are going off. Ask yourselves why. Ask yourselves why. He knows he's trying to save his brother. He knows the only way he saves his brother is to put guns in Sebastian and Tyler's hands. And the only way he can agree with his brother is to put himself in a place where he could have seen any of that. This video shows he was nowhere near that. He was nowhere near his brother. No one was aiming guns at him. He walks onto screen. He goes toward the guys in the car that are leaving. These are the guys that are traumatized about what just happened right before they get down to that car. It's not true, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not true. Maybe he didn't notice himself as a phantom in the right-hand corner of that before they started talking, but it's there, and it's 100% different than what they said. Why? Because it's not the truth. Daryl Rudolph was no longer in any type of trouble when he decided to fire off 39 shots, and the video proves that. The video proves that. Actions speak louder than words. When it comes to this event,
This is comb over.
when it comes to this event, Daryl Rudolph said, I had to ask him, hey, out on the lawn, when he pointed that gun at you, how far away was that gun? Oh, I'd say probably guesstimate 10 inches away from my skull. Getting his life threatened, according to Daryl. What does he do? What does he do? Not
The state is pissing me off that apparently all Travis had to do was apologize for Dominique being a total butt monkey, sending her flying monkeys. I mean it in the Wizard of Oz sense, but I realized that could have come out wrong. But sending her minions out to harass this poor woman and her family.
Not only does this video show, he chases after the man that had a firearm 10 inches away from his temple.
100% true.
He runs him down. What was Daryl's plan going to be? To get shot in the face? That doesn't make any sense. And to Daryl's credit, I asked him, you know, your answer about why you did that, why you ran after the only person that you claim you saw had a gun. Why would you run after him?
He just used
I asked him,
finger quotes.
that doesn't make sense, right? And to his credit, he agreed.
I hope your
It doesn't
hair
make sense
just runs
because
away
it's
from
not the truth.
all five of
That's
them.
not what any reasonable person in that situation, if what he's claiming is true, would have done. You do not run after the one guy that's armed when you absolutely aren't.
Sir,
By this point,
your
ladies
5
and
hairs
gentlemen,
left are going to go to your
essentially,
back.
there's been two worlds
I command
presented.
it.
The world from the Rudolphs about what happened that day, and the version from the state. Once you start funneling every fact, every piece of evidence that you've gotten
No, Jamie had to go get her eyelashes did.
in this trial through those two worlds, one of those worlds, a lot of alarm bells going to go off. A lot of
Oh, which one, sir? Which one?
alarm bells and be like, you know what? That's absolutely not what I would expect. And one world, everything makes sense. Just take Daryl Rudolph's reaction. Let's live in the defense world. Does
Oh,
that
for the
make any
love of
sense what he
goodness.
does? No, it doesn't. He said it himself. Why? It's not the truth. Now put it in the prosecution's world. Does it make sense why he ran after Tyler Robinson? Of course it does. Because if Tyler Robinson
MLS, make this make sense. You're telling me that the state feels good about their case?
and none of them ever flashed a gun, pointed a gun, did anything with a gun, he's just chasing after the guy that disrespected the house, maybe wants to get a few punches in himself. Does that ring any alarm bells, ladies and gentlemen, that version of the story about why he runs after the gun? No, because you're running after somebody to get a few extra punches in. Take Travis's and Daryl's reactions after this all occurs. When you watch the video of this defendant marching down the street with that gun, is that a man afraid there's any gun?
Hey, thanks for walking away from the
his
mic.
way?
I don't want to
No,
hear you.
He's
Actually,
marching like he's Superman and Rambo combined. Does that make any sense? Wouldn't he try to duck behind a car when they're driving around and Tyler jumps over the fence? How does he know Tyler isn't going to just look over the fence and shoot at him? He nonchalant.
I figured out what he reminds me of, like one of those little yappy dogs that thinks they're going to be really good in a fight.
Walks back to his house with his brother. How is that possible? If this traumatizing event that prevented his mother from even typing in her own passcode or using the emergency button to call 911,
You do not
does
say
that make
nothing
any
about
sense?
mama.
No. Now, put it in the prosecution world. If they never saw a gun from any of those four guys, does it make sense why he's marching down the street feeling like he's bulletproof? Does it make sense as to why Daryl just feels he can walk back to the house even though he has no idea where Tyler is? Yes. Because
Dude
that's the
had
truth.
Adderall after
That's
a
the
Mountain
truth.
Dew, allegedly. In my
Sometimes,
opinion.
ladies and gentlemen, no action can speak louder than words. Use the defense world. Daryl Rudolph, his mother, don't call 911. Don't call
Again with
911.
mama?
That start to ring any alarm bells? Why they wouldn't do that? This woman had cameras everywhere. Everywhere. And you heard her testimony. She thought they were
All right. Nope. I'm done. Sir, I officially hate you with a passion of 1,000 suns.
recording. When he is getting handcuffs put on him, what better moment is there to at least tell the guy putting the cuffs on, maybe you got this all wrong? Not a word. Not a paper airplane note out the window saying they had guns. She didn't scream out the window they had guns. Daryl, when he's texting back and forth, doesn't even mention the word gun. Why? Because they did not use any guns. And now, in front of all of you, they're trying to put those phantom guns in his hands, in Sebastian's hand and in Tyler's hand, because that's the only way he gets out of murder, ladies and gentlemen, and he knows it. There's the Rudolph family story, and then there is the truth. He was not in any imminent danger when he decided to pull that trigger, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times,
Oh, we're
39
counting
times at a
again.
car that was leaving. And Mr. Shiner wants to say that video shows it going forward first. Okay.
Sir, all 39 of your hairs are ready to give up.
You'll have a chance to watch these videos, ladies and gentlemen. All you got to do is ask if you haven't seen it enough already, and if you're not clear.
I have all the middle fingers.
Detective Vanderlyn said we didn't talk about him. Here's some quotes from Mr. Shiner. Lack of investigation. Didn't give a damn. Did absolutely nothing.
Show me the lie.
She didn't care. She didn't want to know.
Oh, God, he's going to defend her
Where'd all this
honor.
come from? Where did every single one of that piece of evidence come from? Videos, text messages, guns,
Y'all quick,
ammunition,
what does a stroke feel
photographs,
like?
CSI, call logs, cell phones. Everything came from her. He said she did nothing. Did I just make all this stuff
Is that his girlfriend?
up out of thin air? No. But for Detective Vanderland, none of this is here.
Yes, she
None
was
of it.
a
And
pillar
he
of
just got up before
integrity.
all you and acted like she didn't do a thing. That's not true. He wants to force you all to believe she's a terrible detective.
She is
How
terrible.
did I just play that video I just showed you? She lucked into it? No.
Terrible.
These officers did everything they could to get to the
No, that's a
bottom
coma.
of how Sebastian ends up dead,
An
how
unfortunate
Tyler ends
one.
up with 2 shots in his body, and how Keyshawn and Chris barely dodged the same fate.
Oh, God, please be over soon.
These are all the defense exhibits. These are ours. They're just blow-ups of the evidence that Vanderland got. So literally, everything on this table, everything on that table, everything defense has in an exhibit, Detective Vanderland. And he just got up here and said she didn't do a thing. Didn't do a thing. That's not true either. That's trying to force you to doubt what this investigation revealed, ladies and
Don't
gentlemen.
doubt
As we talked about,
Detective
forced doubts are not
Hammerhead.
reasonable doubts. They're not.
He is just so mad his hair is going. Oh, his hair doesn't even.
How do you
wanna be
not search for
associated
guns
with
over
him.
there? And I think during his closing, he also said, did any of the defense witnesses play games? Daryl Rudolph did. Once he got caught on this videotape, seeing that
You do not bring Daryl into this. He is a good old country boy taking care of his mother.
he's absolutely not where he said he was to you a few minutes before. Oh, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. That's playing games, ladies and gentlemen, because he has no good explanation for that. And how do they not search for guns? Ask Daryl during cross-examination. Detective Vanderlyn gave you the card, right? Call her anytime you want. Tell her anything you want. Oh, I don't remember that. Well, then we go back to the hearing. About a year ago, no juror members here. What do you say right away? When asked the question, did Detective Vanderlyn give you a business card? Yes. Did she tell you that you can call her anytime with any relevant information that you have? Yes. But he gets up there in front of all y'all. Oh, I don't even know who she is. He doesn't now know the main detective on his brother's case. Give me a break. Give me a break. Give me
Yeah,
a break.
I really don't like this strategy. I
Linda
really
Rudolph.
don't.
Again,
Especially when your witnesses are like the garbagey of humanity. They are the stuff stuck on the underside of the trash bags.
all those cameras there, ring videos, text messages, everything. Same thing. Detective Vanderlyn wants to hear from you. He's acting like he did. Detective Vanderlyn didn't even try.
You have a right to remain silent and
Didn't
have
even
your
try.
lawyer.
Just put him in cuffs, let him walk away. Linda has something to say, don't want to hear
Bring
it.
church lady
Daryl
back.
has something to
Bring
say,
her
don't want to hear
back.
it. Can't be any different than the truth. Linda Rudolph doesn't want to admit that either, ladies and gentlemen. She wants to pretend like that detective wrote her off when in actuality, that detective gave her every chance to say the word gun and she never did. Think about that. Think about what a reasonable person, if what Linda, Daryl, and Travis are saying is true, wouldn't that be the first?
I mean, chat, you tell me, but my blood pressure is up. This is so gross. Go with the facts if you had any, but you don't.
First and only thing you would say to those cops that are waiting outside. And this whole excuse of, oh, we heard sirens, so guess they would just figure everything out. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a break. You know, in here, that's garbage. That's a garbage excuse. You know it. If you knew the police were coming, then why didn't you interact with them? Even then, let's assume that story is true somehow. Well, when the cops are there, why aren't you running out to them to say, my son's just
Because you did a stellar job at your investigation.
got attacked? I'm so traumatized over it. It's because that didn't happen. They knew that. Quite frankly, she might have been worried that the cameras did capture everything her son just did unjustifiably outside, and that's why she can't talk to the cops at that moment, and nor can Daryl, because they don't have time yet to come up with how Travis ain't guilty of first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder, ladies and gentlemen. On the flip side,
Yeah, do we really need to
did
spell it out?
Chris Lowe, did Keyshawn, did they talk to the police right after this?
Do we
Yes,
want to go over the honesty
can be done.
of your
It's easily done.
defend-
You have Keyshawn's 911 call. And in that call, he gives a quick, to-the-point summary of what took place. Then when you want to watch the officer body-worn camera from Detective Etienne that spoke with Chris Lowe, he does the same thing. They're clearly in shock, too. They had a dead body sitting right next to them who was their best friend. And somehow they're able to muster up what happened at that house. His brother, silent. His mother, silent. Even as they're seeing him carted away in handcuffs. Does that make any sense in that world? No. Because it's not the truth. It's not. We can understand why. Okay?
Jung, I
If in
wasn't
your
going to say it, but
packets
you did.
There was
so.
a form. Had a question. Said, is Daryl Rudolph a generally good guy? Sub question. Is Linda Rudolph generally a good woman? I tell you to mark yes. I tell you. They didn't do anything here. They didn't put themselves in this position. They didn't make Travis do what he did. In fact, Linda Rudolph tried to stop him. Linda Rudolph tried to stop him. If anything they said were true about these assailants that are
Right
just
to
horribly
remain silent,
beating them
Peter.
up to a pulp, even though we don't have any photographs. No, none of them went to the hospital. Nothing serious injury in the course of a 3-minute fight.
Salvador,
Then
are
why
we all
isn't
on
she telling
Quaaludes? Why is it we can see these things? I'm clear, and even I can figure this thing out.
the police that is what happened? It would have been very easy. Just like Chris was able to do somehow when he's in shock, just like Keyshawn calling 911. It can be done when you want the police to know what happened. And when you don't, it speaks volumes. That silence from them is deafening, and you know
Can I
in your
hear
hearts
silence from
why
you?
they didn't do that. Why would they have to be forced to come in? Kept saying, well, if I ever got a subpoena, hey, seems to me that for the last 2 years, your son has been charged with murder. At what point are you going to come and tell us he's innocent? Now, in front of y'all. That's all. You don't think Detective Vanderlyn goes back with them dogs or them drones or anything like that if the word gun even got mentioned by any of them? Do you really think she doesn't care? That's not true. That is forcing you to doubt, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Maricini, that is the definition of a possible doubt. He literally said, could be a gun, could be nothing. $12,000, please. I was the one that said, hey, did you take a look at his left hand? Gun could be in there too. Where's my $12,000? He's Mr. Schreiner.
Same. No one, white, black, yellow, polka dotted, striped, even a furry. Don't trust the cops.
Just got up here and said, we paid him a couple thousand. Left $10,000 off that bill for that testimony. And by the way, Mr. China left out the fact that guy's never testified
Salvador,
for the
I'm
state.
glad it's not just me.
Ever. 2/3 income, 100%. I testify for defense. I wonder why that is. That's $12,000 to force you to doubt whether or not Sebastian had a gun in his hand. That's what that is. That ain't a reasonable doubt, ladies and gentlemen. You heard Dr. Osborne say those marks that paid expert came in and said, oh, those are indicative of, gun marks in his hand. Dr. Osborne got up and said, no, that's lividity. That's pooling of blood. That is absolutely not what that is. He has no skin in the game. He doesn't get paid more or less based on what he says. He told you Dr. Maricini was wrong. And we know why he's wrong. He's getting paid to be wrong. He's getting paid to force a doubt in your heads about, that's absolutely.
For $12,000, he's going to lie and blow up his entire career by giving a false statement?
Absolutely a gun that was in his hand. Well, we all know that's not true. That's not what he said. That's not what it means. It's the definition of a possible doubt.
Can you be done yet, sir?
Mr. Shiner said, well, how do you expect Linda and Daryl to trust the police after Travis got arrested? What about before?
That was like 12
There
minutes,
was plenty
sir.
of time before Travis was ordered out of the house for them to talk to the police. Not a word.
Y'all, this man is
Didn't know what to
testing the
say.
Jesus in me.
They know what to say now. We can understand it. It's a brother and a mother who love the man sitting in that chair very much. We can understand why they said what they said. We don't have to accept it as truth. In fact, the video contradicts it completely, and common sense does too. We can feel sorry for Daryl and Linda and Sebastian and Keyshawn. We can. It's not their fault. It's his fault right there. He pulled the trigger 39 times. He was pissed off that they disrespected his mama's house, and he was going to make sure they could never come back and do it again. He doesn't have that legal right, ladies and gentlemen. Nowhere in that.
Wait, if I believe Travis, do I get a payday too? I'm just asking for a friend. I've got some Sailor Moon stuff I got to get.
Packets you all have says that he can. It says that there had to be an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm when he pulled that trigger, and the evidence, the facts, the testimony, even his and his brothers and his mother's show this wasn't out of an imminent threat of death or bodily harm.
I mean,
This was
allegedly
payback.
in Minecraft,
How dare you come
all
over
the
here and
legally
disrespect me.
things.
That is against the law, especially when you murder one person and almost kill three. Tyler forgot to put a bullet in the chamber. I'm sorry. Wasn't this the guy that they said, along with the other three, that their only motivation coming over to the house was to kill somebody? And now he's saying, oh, he just forgot to put the bullet in the chamber. Does that seem like doesn't jive anymore, folks, right? Said in their opening statement, these four men were coming over, vigilantes, set on killing, set on shooting shit up. Where's the shit that got shot up? Where is it?
You know, with this
Tyler?
filter on my
All of them.
thinking, he
Remember in
does
their
make a
opening,
pretty
said all
good.
four had guns. Don't know where that came from. Where is the shit that got
He's
shot up
very
by those four guys
Luciferian
that
at
their
this
sole
point.
determination was to come over and there and do that? As opposed to the state's version of, hey, Dominique was real pissed off and they went over because they were pissed off too, and they were going to start a fight with him if he wanted one. Does that make sense? Any alarm bells, ladies and gentlemen? No, because it's the truth.
Sure,
Tyler
Jan.
could have shot Daryl right in his face in the grass. Doesn't happen. When the fight first starts, any of them, according to Mr. Shiner, pull out the gun, shoot anyone, shoot the BMW, shoot the house, shoot the cameras. Not a shell casing, ladies and gentlemen, not one anywhere but his. 39 of them. How does that make any sense?
How did Binger reproduce?
Story not jive anymore?
Asexually.
About these four vigilantes sent by Don Corleone to come over here. This ain't like a Sopranos episode, ladies and gentlemen. To turn Dominique Jones into Tony Soprano is a joke.
No, but her into a hurricane
Travis is the victim.
true.
Travis is the victim. Cheats on his girlfriend. Undisputed. When he gets in front of all of you, tries to say, oh, well, it wasn't really that serious. Oh, well, I didn't make her my official girlfriend. All this, all that. Despite she sleeps over all the time. And in previous hearings, that's exactly what it was.
I
And he
don't
admits
doubt it.
that he was not faithful. with
Binger's
her.
very
So what
fussy.
happens? She finds out. She gets upset. That ring any alarm bells or anything? Yes. Anybody would tend to get upset if they find.
Well, apparently, because he was cheating and he didn't apologize for her getting hurt while she was attacking him because she got a butt lift. Something.
Find out the
We're
person
right.
that they've been dating for a year has been cheating on them. Makes sense why she gets upset.
She was married.
She says very nasty things to him. What does he do in response to that? When he's in the wrong now, ladies and gentlemen, he is. What does he do? Starts making fun of her body. Saying, hey, the other girl that I've been cheating with, she got a
Hey,
way better body than you.
Sir, look, I've been making fun of her body for a hell of a long time. Church lady even went ham on her body. I'm not guilty.
That seem like he's not a victim? That seem like he's instigating? Does that seem like he's escalating with the girlfriend? Yes. Can we understand why Dominique gets a little bit more angry after that? Again, yes. And then what happens? He calls her a bitch. Said, hey, come get this
And?
crazy bitch. And then
And oh my God, as a person without the dangly bits, I can tell you she was being. I'm over 2 hours. She was being the biggest mega King Kukamehameha biatch from Kyle's mom is a bitch.
she gets upset again. Is there ever a moment where he's not the cause of her anger? No. Defense keeps wanting to talk about, oh, she was married. She was married. Any evidence she was still seeing that guy? Any?
That guy, her husband?
She got up there and told you, we're legally
Salvador,
separated. I didn't really want to tell him that. Can we understand that? That a girlfriend in a relationship for about a year doesn't really
MLS, you have to stop golfing. You need to explain this to me. I'm gonna hurt. I
want to
Damn
talk about
it.
this thing that's about to end anyway and has no relevance in their relationship. Yes. But there's no
Ain't
evidence
done
she was
yet.
cheating on anybody. I think all the evidence is she loved him.
what?
She wanted to be with him. She got worried that he was being unfaithful, and lo and behold, he was, and she got upset. All makes sense.
I
Now, should she have smacked him upside his head? I'm a prosecutor. Can't say that. Words. Can't let you do that. But she smacked him upside his head, and we can
David, pull
understand
out
why.
your phone.
Then he
I
puts
need
her on the
you to
ground.
Explain this
So
shit.
much so that Daryl, after the fact, is way
And
pissed
starts
off at his brother.
smoking.
Despite the minimization that's coming on after this fact, we know about that whole story. If all of it was just Dominique overreacting, he would not be upset with his brother. So that's how we know his brother was not the calm, cool, and collected person that they say he is 24/7. So she gets mad. She tells her loved ones.
All right, y'all. I can't do a poll, but let's put in, is the jury even going to get into the daggone room?
What
Or
Travis
they
did,
just
and they
march
come
their
over
ass
to
right
talk
back
with
out
him
and say,
about it.
Hurricane
Again,
Dominique
totally
guilty.
understandable, ladies and gentlemen. Totally understandable. It's the first thing they say when they get up to that door is they want to have a chat with Travis. Tried calling. That didn't work. They want to say his
Because she
phone's
broke
broken.
his phone.
Phone records are there. Go ahead and look at the rejected call, ladies and gentlemen. Can't do that if the phone ain't working.
Oh my gosh.
He ignored them, and then he came outside. Remember that version, ladies and gentlemen, from Daryl and Linda. This fight happens. All of them are getting text messages or phone calls saying, hey, we're coming over there. We're coming over there to have a chat about what just happened. This was a couple hours beforehand. They have the cameras pointing down at the front door. Daryl gets up and testifies, I thought it was the police. I just ran to the door and I didn't look anything. Give me a break. Give me a break. These are the same people that constantly talked about the sad event of either their father or husband dying,
Oh, for
so much
goodness
so that
sake.
it was so
Y'all making me
traumatizing
try to
that they're
do
so
stuff.
scared
See
that
how
they
y'all
put
are.
that screen up there to be able to tell who is outside of their house. And Daryl gets in front of gets up on that stand and says, oh, I didn't look at that monitor at 12 midnight after all these threats came because I just figured it was the police. Give me a break. Give us a break. That's
Give me
not
a
true.
break.
And we know it in here. He saw who was outside. He wanted to go diffuse it. Then Travis saw who was outside, and he wanted to put the argument into motion. He wanted to give his side of it, and he started that fight. He started it, and he certainly ended it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the facts and the evidence show.
I will figure this out soonish. Oh, for the love of all that is holy.
No shell casings from anybody else but this defendant. Not one. Despite these guys being these murderous vigilantes, they somehow aren't able to pop off a shot when 39 are ringing back at them. Say what you want. Say what you want about on the porch, out on the lawn, walking down the road. Whether or not they could have pulled the gun, would have shot then, I submit to you, those are plenty of good times if they were on a murderous rampage. That would have been the time to shoot the gun. But absolutely, when 39 shots start ringing out, they don't take one defensive shot back to try to get him to stop. Give us a break.
They're
We
special
know
needs,
that
sir.
if they had not one but two pointed directly at him and his brother, they would have pulled that trigger if it was anything close to true. There'd be a shell casing inside that car. There'd be a shell casing outside of the car. There'd be another shell casing that doesn't come from that Sig Sauer, and we don't have it. Why?
Sour. Sig Sauer,
Because
sir.
they're trying to force you to believe that guns were in their hands when this
Okay, now we figured out his hair. He has to wear a helmet.
happened, ladies and gentlemen, and forcing you to believe it, imagining that it happened, speculating that a gun might have been there. Those are not reasonable doubts. Actions and the lack thereof can speak louder than words. He was not defending himself, ladies and gentlemen. He was pissed off. Just like they were pissed off. Difference is, every one of them that came in here, they acknowledged their role in this. Even looking back, saying in hindsight 2020, maybe we don't do that at midnight in terms of going over and confronting
We
him.
wish
All of
if
them
there was
acknowledged
merciful,
their
benevolent
faults.
God, it would have
He
been
got up
done
and said,
already.
Detective Vanderlyn said she never made a mistake. I'll rely on you guys to go back in that jury room and see.
Pretty much.
Was there ever a time that she was like, you know what? It was an oversight. You're right. I should have done that. Of course she did. She's not perfect. It's clear she didn't do nothing, ladies and gentlemen. And it's clear that she cares about this case because of all the work that she did to try to figure out who did it. And the answer is Travis Rudolph, because he was pissed off. Because he was pissed off.
Can we be done yet, sir? I want some tacos.
Hasn't been easy. We appreciate all your time. Your verdict's not going to be easy. Like Mr. Shiner said, a lot of people affected by this case.
STFU, please.
But that last jury instruction says, when you go back there, it's not about sympathy for anybody. Not the dead person, not the almost dead people, not for Travis, not for Daryl, not for Linda. It cannot be based on that. And you all were the ones that swore, you're right. It's not going to be based on that. What it's going to be
Sir, you
based
may
on is
have
the
a
truth. What
five-head,
it's going to
but
be
you is
based
not
on is a
smart.
factual determination. Number one, is Sebastian Jean-Jacques dead? Answer, yes. Number two,
No,
is he dead
C-SWEP,
because of this
he's
man's
still
criminal action? Yes.
has a
Number
ring on.
three, did he do it and think about it before he did it? Yes. The end. The end. Self-defense is not in play here. His self-defense ended the moment he decided to walk down that road, follow him to his
That's a
car, and
super
as
cool
they're
quote,
turning and leaving, he pumps 39
Doug,
shots
but
into that car. He was sending a message. Don't come back to my house. Unfortunately, under Florida law, he was not allowed to send that message with 39 bullets that killed somebody and almost killed 3, ladies and gentlemen.
are you done?
So what we're asking you to do is when you go back into that jury room, now Mr. Shiner said, hey, it should be 5 minutes. I got more respect for this case than that. There's a lot of
Oh.
evidence. Not a great
Get the
projector.
fuck
A
out
lot
of
of
here.
things that maybe because of us, we're standing right here like those. We understand.
Get right
But
the
now,
F on out of
everything
here.
Whatever you need to see,
Respect
whatever
for
you
this
need to
case.
hear,
You
a
aren't
lot of
even
them are
in
going to
the
be back
zip
there
code
with
of
you.
respect.
But if you ever have a doubt about any of those videos or the audio, please send out a question. We want you to see Vanderlin's work. We want you to see everything that was done to get the clearest picture
I'm sorry,
possible
you guys. I
of why
shouldn't use this.
Sebastian Jean-Jacques is dead and why those 3 other young men almost died. And it's because
Those
this
poor
defendant
kidults.
decided to take matters into his own hands when he didn't have the legal justification to do so. It's as simple as that. And we're confident when you go in the back and start funneling all these facts, all this evidence through those 2 worlds, every time you funnel those facts through the defense world, every time alarm bells are going to go off. Every time you funnel it through the world that these young men wanted to go over, have
Did
a
he
fist
see the
fight,
same
and when it was
trial
over,
we
they
did?
left, not a single alarm bell.
Oh,
ladies and
weave lady,
gentlemen.
come back.
Not
Come
one.
back. Are you done?
So go back there, take your time. If you have any questions, please send it out. You need to look at any of the text messages. They're all going to go back with you too. The text from Tyranny, text from Daryl, where they never mention guns again. First text I would send is, hey, they threatened me with guns, man. What do you want? Not going to find a single text like that because that's not what they did. They came over for a fist fight. He turned it into a gunfight, and that's illegal and against the law. And for those reasons, ladies and gentlemen, we're confident that when you go back there and you get that verdict form, you're going to check the box that says guilty of first-degree murder with a firearm, guilty of attempted first-degree murder with a firearm for the other 3, because self-defense ended and murder began.
Oh.
Nothing more, nothing less. It is not a moral judgment on him. It's a legal.
Dear Jesus, this is not American High X or American History X. We don't start off with a famous quote. Y'all people are killing me. You all is killing me.
legal judgment, and that's what your verdict stands for. That he did that night. He didn't have the right to, and now he simply has to face the consequences of those actions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clausy. It's almost 5:15, folks, so we have to make a decision here, and I'm going to let you make it. We can, I can send you back there to begin deliberations now, which I'm happy to do, or I'm equally happy to do this, send you home for the night. We'll order lunch for you tomorrow, and you start your deliberations when you get in. So let me see hands for start tonight. Not one
let me
hand.
take
All
Satan
right,
off
so
of
we'll
there.
have you come back
I mean-
tomorrow. Now, just so you understand, I don't want you to
Okay.
be confused about anything. I do have a morning docket, and I'll be selecting a jury in another trial tomorrow. But I will take breaks from that jury selection process anytime, or I'll have another judge come in. Anytime you all have a question that needs answering, actually, I'll do it for questions. I will do that. But if you want to come back out here and view any of the videos or look at any evidence out here, then that'll be fine. Most of the evidence will be back in the jury room with you. So that's not really going to be an issue. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have you come back at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and here's what I will, wait a minute. Ms. Edwards, what time did Ms. Lee say? 10. Okay, good. So I need you here at 10 o'clock again tomorrow. And regardless of where I am on my morning docket, I will stop what I'm doing there. I will talk with you folks, and get you going back into the jury room and get all the evidence back in there, the evidence except for a few things like firearms, ammunition, stuff like that. That's not going back, as you might expect. But we'll get you started, and then I'll go on and do what I have to do in another case. All right. So you have heard it all now, including the arguments. So you've probably started, formulating opinions and ideas in your mind about, what you think is the case and how you want to determine this case. And that's okay. That's fine. But just keep it to yourself for the time being. The time for discussion about that with anyone is back in the jury room with your fellow jurors. You cannot, under any circumstances, begin that discussion with anyone else before you get back there in the jury room for your deliberations. So that's a short way of saying no research, no discussion. Keep an open mind. I mean, you've probably got some ideas already, and that's okay, but hear what your other fellow jurors have to say when you get back there. And in the unlikely event you run into one of us out there, out and about tonight, duck us, we'll duck you, and everything will be fine. See you at 10 o'clock to sign in downstairs before you come up.
Okay, guys, so that's the end, and it is rare that I am speechless, but I cannot even describe the level of stupidity I just listened to for the last 35 minutes. That man's hair left him out of embarrassment. It was shame-embarrassed. And I'm there with him. I mean, I'm over here trying to keep away from carbs and felonies, and the man just tested all the Jesus in me. So we will be back. Hopefully, David will be here, so he knows how to do all the bad stuff things, and I will learn how to hide the bad stuff things. And I hope you guys have a good night. I need to go maybe have like a small drink because my blood pressure, I mean, were we watching the same trial? Has he been on Quaaludes and acid? I, one story sounds sane, one story sounds ridiculous, and he thinks it's the state story. Yeah, Salvador, I'm gonna need all the drinks. But I'm remembering my spot as a teetotaler, and I'm not gonna try to keep up with a Swede tonight. So all shall be good. I will see you guys tomorrow if David has me on, or I will be working on the Joel Guy Jr. closing. Hopefully it doesn't get me, it doesn't give me an aneurysm like this one did. Pretty sure my rage is like a big old tumor in my liver that will someday explode. But have a good night. Try to do one hard thing. Today it was me learning how to get Jamie on here. Bye, guys.